What's going on? I am Nando.
I'm DJ, and I've been here before.
Howdy, y'all. My name's Diggins.
And this is mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick up a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
I'm important.
Oh.
This week, we're talking about a movie that everyone forgot about. And also, nobody remembered at the time either, but it's the one that we've kind of mentioned a couple times because it stars one of the great, mostly nitpicking actors and is directed by one of the great Hollywood ambassadors of our time. So it is culturally incredibly relevant. We're going to be talking about Flight Risk. Hopefully, there's not another bizarre plane incident in the time between now and when this one goes out. Who knows? You never know. Fingers crossed. But before that, speaking of incidents, what about those Oscars, huh? Did they have incidents or what? I don't know. I didn't watch.
They didn't give the award to Carla Sofia Gascon, so there wasn't that incident.
Bullshit. That's bullshit. I know nothing about her or anything that's gone on. So I'm
but
just
you loved
assume.
Emilia Perez so much. Nando said Emilia Perez, the best movie of 2024.
I have been waiting for someone to very matter-of-factly sing penis to vagina in a movie, and it just, even other movies that have tried it have done it with too much pizzazz. I want it plain. You know, I want no affect whatsoever.
Can I tell you, Nando, even knowing that it was coming, even having heard it before, I busted up.
It's rough, man. That, and then the other, what's the bit? Okay, you guys have both seen it, right?
Yeah.
DJ views? Yeah.
Yeah.
The one where she's talking to the guy, and the guy's like, I cannot change the mind, because the mind changes the body. You know, that guy.
So
bad.
Sucks.
Just sucks. But yeah, no, bummer that didn't win all the awards.
Well,
One. Or two, I think.
Two.
Yeah,
it won Best Original Song, and Zoe Saldana won Best Supporting Actress.
Best New Jerseyan, yeah, from Passaic, baby.
I will say, it's amazing because Emilia Perez got so many nominations that the quote-unquote incident with Carla Sofia Gascon totally tanked the movie. And the only reason El Mal won for Best Song, I think, is because all of the other songs were bad. Like,
what were the other songs?
It's true. It was a weak crop.
It was another one from Emilia Perez. Though I think the one that
I heard that movie sucks. So those
Selena
songs
Gomez
probably aren't good
song.
either.
Yeah.
The Selena Gomez, well, not the funny Selena Gomez one, even just the bad one where she's doing karaoke.
Yeah,
bummer.
So that was on the table. I couldn't even tell you the other ones, to be honest.
What about that Wicked song where they talk about the old gods or something? The one that they added for the movie?
Well, it's not technically added for the movie. It's just an extension of an existing song.
Oh, they should have done that, though, and they didn't.
What movies came out last year that had songs that you could just be like, that one?
So the problem is Disney's usually strong in that category, but there was no like Inside Out 2 song.
Right. But then wasn't there another Disney movie last year?
Well, Mufasa, but I guess it was too late, I guess.
Oh, man.
Or too bad.
Or the songs were all bad, yeah.
Yeah, Moana 2.
Yeah, but the songs were all bad. Oh, they should start doing good ones. Fuck. And
nothing
in my
from
head,
Moana
I was
2. Not even Chee-hoo!
Yeah, not even.
Could have done that.
Not even that. Not even the whatever the Rocks one was. Do you remember? What was the song about?
That was the Chee-hoo one.
Yeah, but what was
Come on,
what was like
Moana?
The vibe of it? Oh yeah, it was like Moana.
Moana, you're great. Don't be sad.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want to. Put your mind to it, Moana. Ha ha ha! Like
big week for The Rock. What do you think he could have won? You think he should have came and stolen it from them when the Emilia Perez people came and got it? He could have,
maybe
done a look in their eyes and then.
He already asserted his dominance by converting John Cena to the dark side, so that's the direction The Rock's going in. He decided to corrupt John Cena.
Can't believe it.
Wow. One of our least corruptible guys.
My heroes are dead and my enemies are in power.
I must say, you think we know by now, wrestler gets to the end of their career, they just turn heel. I guess Undertaker never did it, but like they mostly always turn heel, so we shouldn't be surprised.
I mean... But why though? Like why not instead of that he be good guy? Do you think he's secretly a good guy though? Do you think he's like working
that could happen? But usually when
he's
someone
a mole on the inside,
he'll take down The Rock. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
the double bluff. But no,
that's
it's
probably
just
what it is.
It's just because you want to, when someone retires, you use it to put someone over, and it's easier to put someone over if that person's a face and you are a heel. It's kind of the deal. So it's okay though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the best songs now.
You'll be okay, Diggins.
What about that Elton John song? That's probably fine.
That's a good question. Why didn't Never Too Late win? Probably because no one heard it, no one saw that movie, and we don't even know if it's good.
It's probably also because, like, I feel like if I remember correctly, Never Too Late is also the name of the song that Pete and the other guy do in 30 Rock, and it's like a shitty song they play on a guitar. Never Too Late for Love, and I wonder if that
Never Too Late
it was
for
that.
Now.
Never Too Late for Now. Yeah, maybe people saw that and went, "Oh, that one was bad." On 30 Rock, and they didn't even think that Elton John did a different.
And they were
version.
like, they should have submitted Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
Yes. Oh my God. So many much better songs. Oh, what about Sing Sing? Did either of you guys see that?
No,
I didn't.
Dickens, you watched it, right? That had a song.
I have not watched it, but I don't think there's original songs in it, right? Because it's about
it did. It got one
existing musical.
There is a song called Like a Bird that was from Sing Sing, apparently.
Oh,
that was the only other one, that got nominated that we haven't talked about, besides something called 6888. I don't know what that is.
Oh,
but,
I don't know either.
Yeah, real bummer.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Amelia Perez is a weird little movie, and it got to win a song, and Zoe Saldana.
So weird.
Zoe Saldana got to win Best Supporting Actress because I don't know.
Because she's the lead actress of that movie, but they nominated her for Supporting Actress for some reason.
Yeah,
it's a good point. Yeah,
she's a big star. This is what they. This is the sorry we didn't give you all the awards for all those wonderful Guardians of the Galaxy movies you did such a good job in.
And The Terminal.
And The Terminal. And the Britney Spears movie. Crossroads, I think. She was in that too.
That's true.
Zoe Saldana has an interesting career. Yeah. What was your favorite bit of the Oscars? Like bit joke or thing they did?
It's so weird, but I liked it because of the callback. I really liked the stupid sandworm bit. And like the "I'm not going to waste your time" song, like I Conan singing about how he's not going to waste my time while wasting my time is just like chef's kiss. I love that so much. And I had the fun doing Sandworm.
I love Conan. I don't think that song worked for me. I wish it did. I don't think the singing came together. It felt like it had a weird pace that was kind of like, just because it's hard to do that live. Also, I don't think it was enough. I think they needed. The song needed to pretty much be over, and then a whole new bunch of crazy shit starts coming out or something. The fact that we only got Sandworm, Dancing Deadpool, and some third thing is like, no, I've seen what's up with that. I know how this sketch goes. Like, there's a bunch of more, bizarre, including like real people, like,
right.
James Corden, Buster for Jones or something, like just bringing out crazy shit that you could, get out there. But, maybe they cut it for time. That would be fun.
Would have been a feast for the senses.
Yeah. What about you, Diggins? What did you love from it so much?
I loved when Conan called Drake a pedophile.
He did do that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think goes through Drake's head now? Do you think he watches everything with the delay?
He has his boys ready to cut the feed.
Just in case.
He must have thought it was over. And he's like, how am I catching more fucking strays? Not even involved in this. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I don't know, but is it ever going to end, do you think? Or do you think it'll continue and like in 30, 40 years when Drake's long dead? Well, I don't know about long dead, but like it'll still be a funny joke. Well, you never know. You never know. Maybe the international criminal organizations, like the evil bald guys with hats on, will get him. It's a big conspiracy. But I don't know. Because I feel like this joke can go on forever. It's always going to be funny.
Maybe if he ever stops being a pedophile, then we'll stop.
Or if he starts being more of a pedophile, And
then it stops being funny. It's like,
there's that, right? Yeah, we don't joke about all the pedophiles. We just joke about this one because it's like such a perfect like Goldilocks zone of like probably a pedophile, but probably not actively abusing children, maybe, or something. I don't know.
That, by the way, is also what pedophiles love, the Goldilocks zone.
Oh my God! Don't you even? That's the Goldilocks zone.
You're a
man.
monster.
Yeah. Goldilocks, man. That's a good name for stuff, you know? Like right in the middle of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not really the Goldilocks zone, is it? It's the little bear zone, right? Because all the things that Goldilocks likes are just the things that the little baby bear also, right?
Yeah, but
because
yeah, those are all the things that are just right.
Yeah,
but Goldilocks
like
is the one that gives voice to that, right? I appreciate your attempt at a contrarian take, Nando.
I mean, I'm just saying that like we're using her voice to she's taking away the voice of Baby Bear when in reality he said all that stuff first. He probably got to go off to mattress store with mom and dad and pick out his mattress too.
But maybe he thinks it's too soft because all those things are subjective.
Oh, well then why is he sleeping in the bed then? Because he's a baby.
He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Listen, Nando, you know how America is as a country. When we have a choice between honoring a blue-eyed, blonde-haired, white little girl or a bear, we're gonna pick the little girl.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, we're gonna let her have the accomplishment.
Yeah. I was gonna say they should put this in Shrek, but then I realized they just did in that last Shrek movie they made.
Yeah,
Puss in Boots one. Yeah, never mind. Oh man, they're running out of stuff. Was there anything you guys missed at the Oscars? Would you have liked to have seen?
Not that I would have seen added, but I certainly would have removed. I thought the James Bond bit was insane. I could not figure out what that was.
Was it because it just got bought by Amazon and they were like, we're gonna fucking show
that's
it?
what
they were eulogizing the franchise.
Yeah,
but that's what it felt like.
I think that was what they were doing.
But also, like, they did. Okay, so they do Live and Let Die. And, you know, I guess you can't get Axl Rose over there. So fine, we'll have, you know, who did it? Was it Lisa who did it?
I don't
know. Yeah.
Well, whatever. Someone do it. And then they had Doja Cat do Diamonds Are Forever. Fine. And then, oh no, was it Lisa who did Skyfall? And I'm like, where the fuck is Adele? Why isn't Adele doing this?
Adele is still around and very gettable.
Yeah, like, but we're having someone else sing her song. Like, what the fuck? That was like,
maybe they thought it'd be weird if it was 2 covers and 1 original.
That's true.
But like, there's like a logical. Like, I think I don't know who did the original Diamonds Are Forever, but I'm certain that they can't sing or are possibly even around.
Diamonds Are Forever. Oh yeah, that's like, who is that?
I don't know.
It's an older person. You could get Kanye to do Kanye's version.
Oh, that's what we need. Yeah. But and then, you know, yeah, you're not gonna get Axl Rose to do fucking Live and Let Die. Like, I get it, but I don't know.
I mean, you could get Axl Rose to do Live and Let Die though, right? Like, he's still around. I feel like they pull out much more old, you know, like deep cuts for these things.
I guess.
Shirley Bassey, by the way, is the singer for Die Another Day, and she is still with us.
Wow.
88 years old.
88 years old, though, so she's probably not doing a lot of Oscars performances.
Yeah. And, but yeah, like, how old can Axl Rose be?
I have no idea.
120.
Yeah.
Wow.
63. Man, he could do it.
All right.
I feel like they went on tour within the last, like, decade. So, yeah, they should have gotten him back. What was the one that Madonna sang? Die Another Day. That's okay. Yeah, they should have done that one, except that movie sucks.
Yeah, it's one of the worst ones.
It is the worst. It's so bad.
I guess that is news, right? That James Bond has been acquired by the Bezos.
They got him.
RIP, I guess.
No, RIP in the opposite. Like, Rise in PC's going to be in so many things. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah,
Do you think he's going to be in Invincible
again
this week? Yeah. I'm so excited. I think he could. Like, what is your favorite spinoff that you've always wanted of James Bond, but because of those evil broccolis, they would never let you do it because they only want 1 movie every 4 years instead of 8 movies a year in the show and stuff. Yeah. What's your Bond supplemental content that you can't wait for?
I'm most excited for James Bond to show up in season 3 of The Rings of Power.
Oh shit! That would make sense. Especially because
hell yeah,
I haven't watched any of that, but that's all like, or could it be like a baby James Bond? Is it like all an origin? Because like Lord of the Rings fans aren't huge fans of that show, but what if they pivot and they're like, no, this is an origin of James Bond, and James Bond fans would be like, oh yeah, we've always wondered.
Could be.
I think I want to see Bond goes to spy school. I want to see him like take spy classes and like I want a Harry Potter James Bond. I know they don't own that, but like I want that kind of style thing. That's what
we could call it what would we call it? The Monarch's Boys, the Regents, Gents. I think that's what we'd have to call it. Something like that. I don't know. We can play around with it.
I want the show that just goes through the entire every Bond movie and tells you what every Bond girl did with the rest of her life.
Ooh,
yes,
that's a good one.
I want that. Well, so many of them die that like there. A lot of the main ones, like the iconic ones, don't survive the movies. But there's definitely enough that you could do a fucking annoying ass like what was it, like Wreck-It Ralph 2. All the princesses sitting around making jokes about how sexist it is, but it's okay because we're doing it as the company. So actually it's kind of fun and we don't have to have any criticism about it in the future. Like we could do one of those. Yeah, I feel like, do you think we'll get a new James Bond announcement soon?
Soonish.
Yeah.
I'm sure
they announced that Rings of Power show pretty fast after they got the rights.
Yeah.
It just took them forever to make it after that.
Does Amazon have an actor who's like one of their guys who it's like, oh yeah, that's the, Millie Bobby Brown
God.
of
John
of
Krasinski, new James Bond. Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh,
First we got American Dumbledore, and now American James Bond. We're
Year
taking it back.
sexiest man.
Oh my God, that's right. That year. What about What's that popular Amazon show besides Invincible?
I don't think there is one.
Homelander. We could get Homelander to be it, or Jack Quaid. He's popping up in everything these days. What about, who's probably free? Remember when, I think this is Amazon, was going to launch the Citadeliverse? And it was going to be like from the Legend of the Citadel Spy guys, and one of them was Richard Madden, I think.
Did they do anything with that?
They did one Citadel movie or show or whatever, and then I think there was another spinoff that was like from the world of Citadel, but it was pretty disconnected. Like I don't think him or Priyanka Chopra was in it. If she was even in the other one, I think she was in the original. But yeah, they'd probably just be like, Richard Madden, you still want to do spy stuff for us? You're 38, you can do it. He could. Pretty good.
Why not?
It's gonna be tough for Eternals when they got to wrestle him back for the next one. Yeah.
Didn't he throw himself into the sun?
Yeah. But I don't know. People, we don't know if he's not sun-proof. He's not. He probably hasn't thrown himself into the sun before. Also, I can't remember, even though we have this conversation every time this comes up. I think they're like robots and there's a million of them somewhere in like a van, like that's how like the Celestials do it. Right. But yeah, I don't know. That movie is weird. Yeah, it's probably going to be Richard Madden. That's my guess. But it could also be what about Adrian Brody? Do you think he'd do it if he was asked?
Oh.
Top of the world now.
Oh. He's the best
actor.
Oscar.
They made fun of him with that little SNL bit where his little Jamaican hair. So he's kind of past that too. It's a new world.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Ooh, what about... Could Mark Wahlberg do it? But then the question is, is our James Bond from Britain, raised in Boston, or do we have Mark do an accent for the whole movie, just as if he is from the UK?
Man,
well,
which one
speaking
is more
of
fun?
Mark Wahlberg doing an accent,
it leads to just endless possibilities. I think we should. Yeah, let's talk about it. So about this week's movie, Flight Risk.
Wait.
Yeah.
A couple quick things.
Okay.
We have to put the final pin in our Vulture movie fantasy league.
Oh my God!
I don't think we need to do that.
We should. I think the people want it.
I think everyone who cared is already keeping up with it. I don't think we need to check.
What does the person that wrote all the wonderful summaries say? Did they have like an ending? Because the person on the Discord was writing very good little summaries.
It's long. I could read it, but they did write the summary.
You don't have to read
maybe just the end of it. I found it.
End bit.
Yeah.
I have to do my favorite thing, which is scroll. But I will give a drum roll to who won, And the winner is, drumroll please. The winner is Carter Whitehead.
Wow, Carter Whitehead, incredible.
Overall, ranked 1,459th, but number 1 in our hearts. Hell
yeah. I'm pretty sure Carter Whitehead is not the name of a movie, so they will have to contact us and let us know what they want us to do. Very excited.
If you, dear listener, are Carter Whitehead, then congratulations. You get to make us watch some piece of shit.
Yeah.
So I'll just read the end bit here. So honestly, this isn't too long. So the big winner at the Oscars was Nora. Picture 100, director 75, lead actor 75, screenplay 75, editing 50, taking away a whopping 375 points dealt out to Carter and SJZ. These two have rounded out the top 5 for a while now and able to catch up with the leading 3. So it just goes to show how one great performing film can change everything at the final hour. Likewise, the Nora buff was also to thank for bringing Jaybirds and Lady Ravenstan into the top 5. In the end, Nora proved almost mandatory, with every member of the top 5 picking it except for Richie, who came in second. So
wow,
huge.
I mean, I didn't pick it, and I didn't even know what it was at the time. So,
you know what's crazy? I did pick it. Honora is in my pool. Yeah, Honora's in my pool.
Wow.
How did you not win?
A lot of other shit, man.
Wow.
What was my worst pick? I'd have to go, because I picked like Saturday Night, picked Smile 2,
Smile 2 was fine. It was a performer.
Got what you paid for it.
Yeah.
Which was some box office points.
Above market, I would say. But SNL for sure, not
honestly,
not good.
Probably should have picked Dune.
Oh, Dune, yeah.
That probably wound up being a mistake,
I mean, that was a tricky one because that was a post box office one.
I know.
So.
Yeah. I know. But we have just one more thing to talk about, and
I don't think we do.
What is it?
Well, as everything has a winner, it ultimately has a loser, and
that's everybody who didn't win. We're all losers here.
We're
all equal
first.
Second place losers.
Wow.
So just to give the full range, as a reminder, Carter Whitehead coming in with a final score of 4,817 and a rank overall of 1,459. At the very bottom, we have All Fury Roads Lead to Rome with a score of 1,204 and an overall rank of 14,109.
And whoever that is, it's very sad for them. We'll never know because they haven't come forward.
And that goes to our very own Christopher Diggins.
What? No, that wasn't me. No.
Wait a second. Hold on. Diggins was not just the worst out of the 3 of us. He's the worst out of the entire group of everybody?
No.
Wow.
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that'd be pretty impressive.
Not of everyone in the world.
Oh, okay.
Actually, we should figure out. So you were 14,109. What was like the last person like overall? Like, I wonder. I'm going to look.
It's a very long list.
Yeah, it probably is pretty long. I mean, there were people that just picked like, Red Notice or Red One and stuff like that. Like, it's probably
14,465.
So, Diggins,
yeah.
Really, much like Icarus, mighty Icarus, flying so close to the sun you almost melted. But in fact, what were your picks? I can't remember. Does it say there, DJ?
I can read it.
Yeah. The big problem was that I picked Gladiator 2, which is a huge mistake.
Inexpensive and...
We didn't know Ridley Scott was just going to be bad at directing and forget all the rules.
Here is Diggins's team: Gladiator 2, Blitz, Inside Out 2, I Saw the TV Glow, Will and Harper, Smile 2, Furiosa, A Mad Max Saga, and The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim.
Just a lot of swings and misses in that one. Blitz had potential, didn't end up garnering any awards attention. I thought Inside Out 2 would probably sweep the animated stuff. I didn't realize the Oscar voters would have taste this year.
Inside Out 2 was secretly bad, so that's good that they figured it out.
I mean, Inside Out 2 is good, but the other, like Wild Robot and Flow, are definitely better.
Maybe it's bad, though. What are we supposed to do with anxiety? We're just supposed to throw it in a little chair? What? Like, and maybe the movie isn't as gay as it wanted to be, That's
well, it definitely wasn't as gay as we wanted it to be. I think we can all agree on that.
And foolish you, Diggins, for picking the 2 good trans movies instead of the 1 bad one. Because
yeah,
that
you're right.
was
Shame
easy
on me.
mistake to make. I also had Will and Harper in my pool, and I did not have Amelia Perez, which I don't know how much Amelia Perez was worth money wise. Like, I'm assuming it performed, but I don't know if it was an expensive pick.
It was like a $20 movie. It was right there with the Nora.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you know, I thought that Hollywood would want to congratulate itself about liking trans people. I didn't realize how bad they would be at it.
Yeah, they're really incredible.
I should say I should read Carter's team, the winning team.
Oh yeah,
and kindred spirits with both of you, by the way. So Carter Whitehead's team: The Brutalists, Smile 2, Honora, Juror Number 2, Amelia Perez, Venom: The Last Dance, Nosferatu, and Furiosa: A Mad Max Saga.
Oh, those are good movies.
Yeah,
except for I haven't seen Juror Number 2.
I've
Most of them I'm like, that's a pretty good.
Seen it.
Yeah. It was in theaters for 1 day or something, and then they put it right on HBO Max or something. So, you know, that's great.
Well, congratulations to you, Carter. Let us know what movie we're doing, either in the Discord or like DM Nando or something.
Yeah, it's and give us a couple of options if you want to send like a message like over DMs, and then we'll kind of figure out which one will be the best one. Unless it's Batman, then we'll do Batman 89 again, but other ones maybe we'll want to be a little discerning.
Batman 89 is the one movie we will do an unlimited number of times.
It's important. Yeah, it's a good movie.
And dig it. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Nando.
I was just gonna say, was there any other Oscar stuff that you guys were thinking about, or any other?
I would just like to be in solidarity with my brother here, Diggins, and say that I did foolishly make a prediction like a week or 2 weeks ago that while I liked Nora, I said there was no way it would win Best Picture, and I was pretty emphatic about it. And you know, we all get to be losers sometimes, so I should just.
We're all losers here.
Yeah, except for Nando, who I guess won out of the 3 of us. So.
Out of the 3 of us, yeah. And is the Pope still alive technically right now?
Doing better.
Okay.
The Pope is actually doing better.
I think I could have been right. I think Conclave could have won if he did kick it, but
it wouldn't have changed how they voted.
They would have changed it.
No, I feel a way about this, and it's my theory on Timothy Chalamet's SAG speech. Some events are so cataclysmic they ripple through time. So I think the Pope's death would have rippled through time, and the voters would have been like, yes, it's Conclave that wins. Similar to how the voters wouldn't vote for Timothy Chalamet because they felt a disturbance in the force with his SAG speech from the future, and they didn't like that one bit.
Come on, DJ, a disturbance in the force. He's in Dune. They saw it ahead of time by taking the spikes.
Apologies.
They did. Yeah, the Bene Gesserits from that show that nobody liked. Remember that? They made that Dune show, and everybody was like, this looks expensive. Yeah. I feel like the Conclave, what do you think would have happened? And honestly, if the Pope died mid-ceremony, do you think Conan would come out and say it? Because it's like an event. It's like a big thing.
Yeah.
Would he have to be like, guys, I know what it's going to sound like. The Pope has just died. No. Sit down, everybody on the conclave table. This isn't a bit. The Pope is dead. And then I'd still think it's a bit because it's Conan, you know?
Yeah. Oh, there's no way he could have proved it. They would have been like, I got Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. They're here. They're going to tell you that the Pope died. They're going to be like,
no, they just would have added Pope Francis to the In Memoriam segment.
Oh my God.
Oh, that would have been so funny.
So good.
No Tony Todd, but Pope Francis, you know, he's been in a lot of stuff. Apparently you have to be a member of the Motion Pictures Academy or something to be in the In Memoriam, which I didn't realize is how that worked, but whatever, who cares? It's not as funny as the SNL one where they showed Adrian Brody's silly little Rastafarian outfit. That's a good In Memoriam. What about Ben Stiller? Ben Stiller was funny at the awards. With
I liked his bit.
Podium.
Great bit.
That was cute.
He's having a moment.
He is having a moment. It's like the stink from Zoolander 2 is finally gone. It's finally fully cleared the room that he's in, and now he's just able to shine.
We're ready for the Ben Stiller show revival.
Oh my God. We're ready for Heat Vision and Jack, baby. It's had its time to sit and cook, and now, Jack Black is also big after Minecraft. He's going to be back on top of the world.
God.
So I don't see why not.
Ben Stiller has one accomplishment he needs to go into true ascendancy God mode. I don't know how he'll do it, but he needs to find a way to have the Knicks win an NBA championship. because he's one of the biggest like out there Knicks fans. Like I think
Yeah.
like that would like truly be his ascendancy if the Knicks won a championship.
Yeah, I mean, what's it like this year for him? Bad?
They have a shot. They have a legitimate shot.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So, we'll see.
They should win. Does he go to games? Like, is he like
All the
Spike
time.
Lee and he yells at
Yeah.
the player? Okay.
Yeah.
Does he live in the city?
I think he lives in New York City. Yeah.
Oh, that's good for him. Cool.
So,
Very cool.
Yeah.
I guess his dad lived in Queens in that show, King of Queens. So he is
There
kind
you
of a
go.
Jersey. He never struck me as like a West Coast, or he struck me as a West Coast guy because he's a Hollywood royalty, you know, like
Sure.
comedy royalty guy. But yeah, he is kind of East Coasty actually. And Zoolander famously worked in the New Jersey coal mines.
Yep.
So
That's
that character
true.
is also from there with his
I went there
father,
once.
John Voight, who was one of our Hollywood ambassadors and
Yep.
still is, if he's still alive, who knows. And one of our other Hollywood ambassadors is Mallory Gibson, who is
Mhm.
the director of Flight Risk.
Good
a
transition.
movie
true.
that
Crushed it.
is the one that this is. Yeah.
One of many great reasons not to watch this movie.
One of many great reasons. If you weren't totally sold on Mel Gibson before, this is even more reason to be skeptical. But then also, you know, this is a movie that I feel like most people probably just don't even know exists at all. Like, did this movie, do you think you could go to someone on the street? Like, how about this, DJ? Do you think if you never mentioned it to her for podcast stuff, Michelle would know Flight Risk was a movie?
No chance.
Yeah, right? No.
Zero chance.
No way. So this might well be a brand new movie for everybody. It's pretty exciting. You're never going to believe what hair everybody has. Spoiler alert. Different hair than you'd expect.
Why does he have to figure? All right. Anyway.
I don't know. I'm still waiting to figure it out. But we'll talk about it. But Diggins, you're the IMDb'sman.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, if you're a new listener here, here at Mostly Nitpicking, we like to play a little game called the IMDb, B as in spelling bee, where my two esteemed co-hosts have to try to guess what the IMDb summary for this movie is. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, how does IMDb get those summaries? Well, I will tell you. You see, they host a contest every year where they send out people on on the, what do you call those? Snow, the like jet skis for snow?
Oh, snowmobiles?
Snowmobiles. Thank you.
Yeah.
Send people out on snowmobiles over frozen lakes. They usually do this in Minnesota because there's 1,000 lakes there, according to their motto. And they just have to keep going until they either run out of fuel or they crash through the ice and freeze to death. Very high mortality rate on this race. But everybody who makes it, runs out of fuel without dying, they all get taken to a wonderful log cabin filled with a roaring fire in the fireplace, hot cocoa ready for them. And then John IMDb, the CEO of IMDb, locks them in that cabin. And the winners are not allowed out until John IMDb has a summary for every movie that's going to come out in the next year.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, partially frostbitten, delirious from exhaustion, and at each other's throats, they slowly, one by one, bang out every summary for every upcoming movie.
Did they make a little cult?
Usually. Not every year,
nice.
but usually.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I have that delirious cabin fever IMDb summary for Flight Risk right before me.
Okay.
And I'll say that the snowmobilesman who wrote this one assumed that you had never seen a single piece of marketing for the entire movie. Like, not one piece of marketing has ever crossed your eyes, including the poster on this webpage right here. But otherwise, it's not bad.
Okay. DJ, I'd like you to go first.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Because I have a thing written down, but I don't know if that fits with what that was.
All right. A U.S. Marshal must transport a criminal turned witness when things on a date on a flight that could prove to be dangerous for everyone on board.
I
Okay.
like that.
Now, Nando, I'm going to need you to either do significantly better or significantly worse than that, because I already looked at the trivia, and it is a barren wasteland.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, mine's kind of similar, but it'll be different.
No.
Actually.
Be better.
No, it's
Be
different enough. Be best.
Best.
A U.S. Marshal's quest to transport a high-profile witness is thrown into chaos when something unexpected happens.
Oh no. Oh no.
No? Yeah,
Sign,
I mean,
sign.
there's not a whole lot going on in this movie.
I
Like,
know.
what
What
to...
could the summary possibly
Yeah.
be?
Neither of you did amazing.
Oh, and the game would suck for this movie, too.
And
If we did like the
7
name
whole
game, it would be
people in it,
awful.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have a winner, but it's DJ, so I'd rather go to a tiebreaker.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
What?
this sounds like a good
What
way
are
to do
we
a tiebreaker.
doing?
DJ, come on. We have to give Nando a chance.
No. Don't give it. I mean, was it like a really clear victory, or was he like, did he get like one word that I didn't get? 'Cause then I'm like,
It's a
tiebreaker
squeaker.
time.
It's a squeaker.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to a
I think
tiebreaker.
it's tiebreaker
This is a
time.
squeaker. All right.
All right, so okay.
Oh God.
I'm like, this trivia is nothing.
There's what? Okay.
Okay. There is one. No. Stupid.
You know, there's nothing wrong with a squeaker. You know, honestly, some people call it a mandate. Someone would say it's a mandate, that I was supposed to win.
Sir, I'm getting up and yeah, no, never mind. Let me get my paddle.
I think it's a mandate that I win.
Now hold
people
on, I
have
can do
spoken.
this. God, this is nothing. All right, I'm gonna do one of those ones where we could do it based off of the actual summary because I have nothing else.
Okay.
There is a phrase that this summary ends with to sort of convey the premise.
Okay.
That is like a very common phrase. I'm going to read out everything up until that phrase so you have an idea.
Okay.
So the summary up until the last clause is: a pilot transports an air marshal accompanying a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested as... So this is a... so like, you know, it's a particular formulation of it, but if you get the basic shape of the common phrase that this is, then that's fine.
All right, I think I have a guess.
I've got one too. DJ can go first since you went first with the summary.
As enemies become friends.
Okay.
I was going to say, as it turns out, someone is not who they appeared to be.
One of you is very close, but doesn't have the phrasing right.
Oh, must be Nando.
Yeah, it's probably mine because I fucked up the phrasing so bad. What was the last couple words before the end again?
Tensions soar and trust is tested as
someone is not who they appear to be.
pretty much exactly what Nando said. Okay, Nando?
No, what?
As secrets are revealed. I don't like it.
DJ was closer.
Wait, the first time or this time?
This time.
Yeah.
Because you were just the same one as Nando's first one. I'm going to give you each one more. If neither of you get closer, I'm going to give it to Nando.
Whoa, wait, why?
Because he got closer first.
We must have some kind of tiebreaker. This cannot.
This is a tiebreaker.
Well,
Wow.
Listen, if you nail the
I like
phrasing,
this.
you win.
But why? I don't understand why Nando. It's fine. It's totally fine. He deserves it.
He got close first.
Take it. My revenge will be incredible. Okay. One more time, give me the lead in.
Yeah, let's do that.
Tensions soar and trust is tested as...
As true identities are revealed.
Okay.
Did I win? Like,
well, let's hear what Nando has to say.
Oh, okay. Tension Sora is tested as as everyone's secrets are God, I don't know. I can't even think of another way to say this phrase. I feel like we've said it the one way.
There's only
as
one
the
way
truth
you can
comes
say
out
this.
or something. How about that?
No, there's another way to say it that sounds a little better.
Probably.
As not everyone on board is who they seem.
Oh. Interesting that
Nando won?
Wow.
I mean, it doesn't feel right, does it?
No,
it doesn't.
Not even.
All
close.
right, third tiebreaker. Diggins, you get to pick one.
I mean, second tiebreaker.
Yeah,
well,
I
no,
guess
because
that's
I squeakered the summary. Nando squeakered this game. So now, just
Maybe the goofs section has something for me.
Ooh,
Goofs.
let's go to the goofs. Diggins, I'll take anything at this point. I'll be like, guess the rivets on the side of the plane in that one shot. Like, I'll agree to anything.
Can't goofs we looking at?
How many times was the word I don't know, piss said? Topher Grace keep being like, oh, I pissed myself. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's not how he sounds at all.
No, it's not. That's how kind of Mark Wahlberg sounds, but not really
Goofs
either.
suck.
Yeah, Topher Grace is more of a come on.
Yeah. I just pissed myself, guys.
God,
Well, no.
I can't believe I pissed myself.
Oh, well, shucks, Rick, I pissed myself. That's what he sounds. Diggins, have you had any luck
Do you think I'm
with the
cool?
goofs?
No, the goofs are terrible.
Oh,
You
even the
discovered some
goofs are
goofs?
terrible?
Oh.
No, there's gotta
Okay.
be something.
All right. There is, at one point in this movie, a radio frequency gets used that is a real frequency for plane emergencies.
Okay.
Do either of you remember what that frequency is?
I mean, I will try.
Yeah, I mean, DJ, you can go first again.
121.5.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say 121.3.
So DJ
One of
is
us is
exactly
right.
correct.
Oh, man. Incredible.
Did I do it?
Incredible.
Well, you, DJ, have exposed yourself as a liar and a cheat because you
How?
remembered something.
Is that not allowed? Or I picked
Well,
something
you're
else.
the one who always claims that it's impossible for you to remember anything.
I don't know. This
That's
one stuck out to
true.
me.
DJ, take your hat off. He's
Oh,
bald.
no.
Wait,
I knew it.
How's
This
this?
is some sort of screw job. He's got come to kill us.
All right, how's this, Nando? If you can tell me the code name of the plane, like that Mark Wahlberg says before takeoff, I'll just give you the win.
Oh yeah, I have no idea. I
don't
could not
know.
even. Yeah,
It was
Planey?
November uniform. He said like
I do remember hearing the word uniform a lot now that
Yeah,
you
it
mention
was
it.
November
I didn't
uniform.
think that was the name of the plane, but that makes sense.
or his call, like whatever. This is November.
Yeah, his
uniform,
call sign or
uniform.
something.
All right, listen. I tried, Nando. I tried.
You did. You tried.
I think we're gonna have
Mark,
to give it to DJ here.
he did it to me again.
I'm sorry.
Mark is just always out to get you, just
Really?
almost as if you were some minority.
This feels wrong.
Mhm.
I don't know, but you know.
Yeah.
Well,
It is
DJ, you can
but
tell us
that's
how
what I
wrong it
thought.
felt when you tell us what you thought of Flight Risk.
Oh yeah, Flight Risk. Wow, I'm just gonna get out in front of it. I sure did hate this movie. Now, why did I hate this movie? I don't know if it's just because of Topher Grace, but Topher Grace is 47% of why I hated this movie. I thought his performance, maybe not his performance, but his character sucked. Like, we'll talk about it, but I don't know why the witness, the criminal witness, had to be just like a goofy fucking like quipster. And like, I don't know, I don't have any hate for Topher Grace like as an actor, but like, I don't know, this kind of being just like a goofball here in moments when it doesn't make any sense. The movie itself, I don't know, it's very strange. It's about nothing and tries to have all these twists and turns that don't mean anything. Because it's only 90 minutes, everything is in the trailer. I'll give them this. They get to the reveal nice and quickly because we all know that it's going to happen. So they just get out in front of it. I was so worried it was going to really meander, but like, nah, they got out in front of it, and it's like, oh, he's bad, right? And there's just like nothing going on, and it's not exciting because you know what? This movie has a real money plane problem where a lot of the movie we're just like in the cockpit and just like kind of talking and stuff. So
some might say that's the entire movie.
Yeah. So even worse than Money Plane because there's no heist.
But there is millions in crypto.
There's
that
millions
is true.
in crypto.
Million in crypto. But
yes,
fair.
In crypto. But I miss Money Plane. That was such a time.
Yeah, you think they're gonna make a second one? I feel like the first
Money
one probably
Plane
made
2?
some money. Yeah, why not? I feel like
Just
it got
go
idiots
back.
like us to watch it, you know.
Now that Vince McMahon is out, probably not.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
Damn. But maybe he'll be back in, you know? That's how this seems to go.
Maybe there'll be an executive order. WWE has to put Vince back in charge.
Yeah, maybe he'll be our new he'll be one of our new Hollywood ambassadors, but of you know, World Wrestling Federation or something. I don't know.
So anyway, all this to say, I really didn't like it, and it's bad. And yeah, that's about that. Nando, what about you? What did you think of Flight Risk?
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a huge Topher Grace fan, but I like him generally. Like I never liked I didn't watch that 70s show, but like I like him in other stuff he's been in,
Spider-Man.
like
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Well, I don't know about that, but like I like him in like Heretic or like you know, the Clan movie. He's an interesting actor.
Supposed to be him in Molly's Game.
Oh, is that Michael Cera or is that something else?
I think.
I think so. Yeah.
The guy who's like really annoying and abrasive.
I think that was
Topher
Michael
Grace
Cera.
is
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, Topher Grace, I feel like
was like that.
Yeah, he feels like he's like maybe not in a different place now, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of like him. And I haven't watched some so-called home economics. Anyway, I think it was after Black Klansman. I was like, oh, maybe there's something to this guy, especially because you know what it is? He was part of that 70s show. Now, obviously, the adults on that 70s show, great. Those two, very funny. Everybody else in that show is fucking reprehensible human being on different levels, right? You got like Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, crypto scammers or whatever. And then you got Danny Masterson, who I think just went to jail for like sexual assault or something. Yeah. So like coming out of that show afterwards, I was like, maybe Topher Grace ain't that bad of a guy. Maybe he was just working with lunatics. Anyway, so that's to be said. I don't know, like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not that tuned in. She maybe is cool as well. But all that is to say, if I liked him a lot, maybe I could enjoy this movie, but I didn't, so it's not good. Mark Wahlberg's really awful in it. Maybe the worst he's ever been. Both of the kind of ways he's playing it. The main character, played by Michelle Dockery, who seems to mostly be from, I mean, she's from a lot of stuff, but people would probably recognize her from Downton Abbey, where she plays a character named Lady Mary Crowley. And like the Downton Abbey movies and such. I don't know that. So I've never watched that. So I don't know her from that. She was in that movie, what was it? Boy Kills World, which I saw. I think I know who she was in there. Anyway, she's fine, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, the movie's boring. The plane stuff's not very good. And they have to go do a bunch of things again. Like, because it's so short, but also, even though it's short, it should be even shorter. So like, they get what's his name, Mark Wahlberg, and then you're like, oh, he's just gonna kind of be in the plane being a little rascal, but he keeps breaking out and doing plane shenanigans and stuff, and it's like this is pretty stupid. You know, I don't know, it sucked. Whole thing was bad. Planes are bad. Mel Gibson's bad. Was there anything I liked about this? No, not really. I liked Leah Remini. You know what I liked about her? I liked that I could hear her voice and go, oh yeah, that's Leah Remini, you know, as opposed to the other guy who I had to look up. But you know, that's something, I guess. But no, it's not good. No one should watch this. And Diggins, what about you? What did you think of this movie, Flight Risk? You liked it?
So I think a while back, on some podcast, I forget which one, I wrecked the movie Red Eye.
Oh yeah.
Which is a Wes Craven movie starring Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams. And if you want to see a good movie about a person stuck on an airplane with a crazy hired gun, you should watch Red Eye, because that movie's great.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a bad one, you should watch Flight Risk. Because this movie is boring. Topher Grace appears. It appears to me like they finished filming the movie and then they were like, "This movie's boring. We need some punch up. Have Topher Grace shoot and record a bunch of like funny lines that we can throw in the movie." Because there are times where it's very clearly ADR or like a separate shot of him and like two stunt doubles from the back, where he's like doing his stupid quips.
You're so stupid.
That sucks. I also hate Mark Wahlberg in this movie.
Yeah.
Because I mean he's going way too hard on the like crazy psycho killer angle, which is like not really what this movie is.
Nope.
And all of his crazy psycho killer stuff is like really, really rapey in a way that's just kind of uncomfortable.
You want to play hide the hot dog?
Everyone, even for characters that aren't on the plane. It's like Mark Wahlberg is insinuating all up and downtown. It's bad.
Yeah. So, and apparently, according to the trivia section, I couldn't figure out a way to make this a question, but it's the only good piece of trivia. According to Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg improvised all of that.
That sounds right.
And apparently, they cut out the worst stuff.
Oh my God. Now that's way more interesting. Like that. Now I want to see that kind of. I want to know what Mark Wahlberg thinks is like. This is what a killer would say. And then, yeah, it's just really graphic.
So, yeah, it's not very exciting. Not a lot happens. Two of the central performances are annoying.
Yeah.
And just overall really not worth your time. And if that wasn't enough, directed by Mel Gibson, noted terrible human being.
Yeah.
So don't support it.
No, but one of our Hollywood ambassadors, as I keep saying. So
that's true.
A very important person.
Right. Well, speaking of a very important person, Nando, you're a very important person right now because you get to summarize the plot of Flight Risk for us.
All right, so let's talk about Flight Risk. So we have characters and they're going on a trip. They have to travel from one place to another. You know who else does them traveling from one place to another? The husband in the episode, Joey and the husband. He's finally back.
Wow, he's here.
This is a character played by an actor I'm somewhat familiar with named Matt Lecter. I think is his name. How you pronounce it? He's
Hannibal Lecter's brother.
Is Hannibal Lecter's brother? That's right. The late great Hannibal Lecter. R.I.P. He is a actor from the Flash show. I'm sure he's from other stuff, but he played the Reverse Flash when it stopped being the guy who it secretly was, and it just became like a guy. It's hard to explain, but basically he was in that. He was a bad guy. And I remember hearing that he was in this. And I'm wrong about the name. How are you supposed to pronounce this guy's name? What is this? Oh my God. L-E-C-H-E-R maybe?
Oh,
yeah, here we go.
S-C-H-E-R. I think
yes.
Letcher.
Okay. Letcher. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else people would recognize him from. Oh yeah. He's in the Zorro movie. I think he's like the governor of California, or like the guy, like the army guy who's bad.
Captain Harrison Love.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's the guy that's trying to romance Catherine Zeta-Jones, and then Antonio Banderas is like, the lady is trying to dance, or he says, me and the lady are trying to dance, and then Antonio Banderas says, you are trying, she is succeeding, and then he dances with her. It's very sexy. No, he's in that. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's good in stuff. I kind of like him in this. I don't know how much he's going to spend, how much we're going to see him. But he turns out to be the secret husband. Well, not secret. We knew that there was a husband, of the main characters. What is her name? Kate? No.
Alex.
Like that? Alex, the landlady who Joey maybe has a will they won't they thing going on with, which is interesting. That's like the A plot. This guy's back. The B plot is far more interesting. Dre DiMatteo works for, I don't know, like the bad guy in a Punisher show or something. Like just this.
I was going to say one of the guys from Air Force One.
Yeah, it's that kind of guy. Just like a super evil, I'm going to say Slavic or something kind of guy. And then Joey sees this and he's like, you got to get your own place. You got to work for yourself. And Dre DiMatteo's like, but I don't got some money to have my own place. And he's like, I'll give you some money. Michael's like, give her money, Joe. You have lots of money saved up. And Joey and Michael get really into this, and Dre DiMatteo's not as into it. And then at the end, she's like, you know what? I am going to leave my job, but I'm not going to immediately quit. Or like, I'm not going to start a business right now. So she's like, that seems like it would be
a lot of work. And I'm like, I agree, Dre DiMatteo.
Absolutely.
It seems like it would be a lot of work.
Yeah, this is Los Angeles. I mean, Las Vegas is right down the street too. I'm sure there's a lot of different hair salons and stuff that are hiring, or, other things you can do at places like that. I don't think you need to immediately start your own. What did you guys think of this one? I kind of liked, because the thing with the husband is that Joey is like, oh man, this is going to be a difficult dynamic of me living with this not single woman, but like a lone woman who is married. And then she's like, oh, she's got this hunky friend. So he's ready for a fight. But then this guy's like, I'm not worried about you. You're not scary. You're tough at all.
Yeah. Hey, DJ, why don't you tell us about what you think about the reason why he's not threatened by Joey?
Well, he's obviously not threatened by Joey because of Joey's inability to be a proper lover. Obviously.
Which he knows from firsthand experience.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're right next door, you can hear stuff through the walls a lot of the time.
I promise one of these days I'm going to watch a Joey episode. I promise.
You watched one of them, right? Didn't you watch one of them?
Yeah, you watched Joey and the Book Club.
Yeah, Joey and the Book Club. I watched.
Yeah, that was a good one. This one's, I would say, I didn't love, didn't hate this one. It's one of those ones where like no Jennifer Coolidge, really no acting stuff, which I think seems to maybe be the most fun, and no silly parties, which are also the most fun, but. I don't know. I think Joey was pretty good in this one.
Not a lot of incest either, so that's a plus.
No, yeah, very little incest. Like, you could kind of read maybe what they're doing as, like, getting too involved in her business, but that's, like, regular sitcom, brother-sister relationship. There's nothing sexual about it.
There was a lot of that, like, early 90s, early 2000s conventional wisdom of, like, it's impossible for a man and a woman to just be friends.
Yeah. And like, again, it's weird that we're this far into the show and I can't decide if they're ever going to get together or just not. Like, they don't have chemistry. So it's like, it's not like, God, what's another version? I don't know, like Jim and Pam, where you could see it coming from a mile away. I'm like, I could see version, or season 2 of this show, them just not doing any of this stuff anymore. Her being gone, because it's not really working for me.
I think there's actually a big hint in this episode that they are working towards it. Because the reason, as DJ knows, of course, that her husband isn't threatened by Joey is because Joey's goofy.
Mm-hmm.
But what he doesn't know is that, there's Joey, and then there's the bad bitch that let him hit because he's goofy.
It's one of those phrases I only know because you say it a bunch on the podcast. But I did see that one coming. I will say, speaking of goofiness and stuff, I think there were some kind of funny jokes in this one. I don't know if you had a favorite, Diggins, or any that you stuck out to you. We had this running gag of that Joey has a car. It's not really a running gag, but it comes up a couple times that he just
more like a driving gag. Am I right?
Yeah, that's true. He has a car that he just refuses to return and keeps forgetting exists and just keeps getting covered in like tickets. And that's kind of fun. There was a line that I loved, where, cause Joey's like, or Dranda Mateo's like complaining about her job or something. And she's like, well, what do you do your silly job. You pretend for a living. And Joey says, I put in my time in the trenches. And then she says, doing what? And he says, digging. What else do you do in a trench? And I'm like, that's a funny joke.
I also liked that. I did think that was pretty good.
It's a great joke.
And I could also see him digging in a trench. Like I could see that character have gotten his start, just digging trenches. Yeah. You know what? Not a whole lot. I don't know. I guess what I didn't love about this episode is how segmented it was. I think I wanted something like a big party where everybody is forced to interact. That tends to be a good way to pay off a lot of this fun sitcom stuff. I kind of like, what do you think of Matt Letscher Diggins as the husband?
We don't really get a lot of him. It's just like one scene, two scenes where he's just like being the straight man to Joey. So like, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion of him. He's just sort of some guy right now.
I think when I saw that he was the husband, I expected him to be way worse. I expected him to be like something bordering on abusive or something like that. When in reality, he's just different from Joey and kind of an asshole, maybe. And, like a DJ, do you remember his job? Have we talked about his job yet?
Wait, Joey's
the
job?
Husband's job. No, the husband. He has a job that keeps him away from town all the time. And like, it's a very specific job for a character to have in something like this.
Well, I think a kind of very LA job.
Really?
Well, I guess more. Honestly, I feel like it's more of a New York job, but it's a living in a creative town job.
I guess that's fair. Sure. He is a touring violinist, right? Or cellist? Which one is it? Viola. Oh, right, because that's the bit, is that she doesn't know how to spell violin. Yeah.
Well, no,
that's the bit.
She does know what a viola is. Joey thinks she's being confused about the violin.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Classic Joey. But yeah, the that as a character setup, I think, was interesting because he's not related to Joey, but he is still a performer, but he doesn't take Joey seriously. I don't know. I think you could do something with this dynamic. I don't think it really works. But I, much like Joey, enjoy a nice action figure find in a pool. So I couldn't not, immediately associate with Joey in that dynamic. But maybe if I didn't, I'd be like, this Matt Letscher guy's got it going on. Like, he's cool and he's better than Joey in every way. I don't know. Episode's okay. I wouldn't say this is like the best one. I don't think this is anywhere near as funny as last week, with Brian Michael David Scott. In fact, I think this might be the most plotty of the episodes we've dealt with in a while, and for that reason, the least fun. But overall, it's fine. We're gonna get into some really weird ones coming up. Because we're about to do, we're about to do a two-parter, which is called Joey and the Dream Girl.
We're talking about this. We're gonna do not both in one, right? We're gonna do
we're gonna do episodes as they go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how else are we gonna make this Joey bit last the entire year?
Exactly. And it's, it's this one's weird too. But what else is weird? Flight Risk, a movie that sucks. Let's talk about it. Now listen, maybe parts of it were good. Maybe everybody that worked on it besides Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg are great people. I don't know, but it really hurts my goodwill in the movie when their names are so big in it, especially when it ends and it reminds you. By the way, directed by Mel Gibson. Oh. Yeah, and listen, the movie itself isn't very good on its own, but I don't know. That could have maybe saved it if it was by someone who was less detestable. But this movie is like, and it's a lot of movies. I'm trying to think of another movie that this is, like a movie about transporting a witness in a kind of tricky situation. Yeah. You know what? It is very Snakes on a Plane, except instead of Snakes, Mark Wahlberg, and instead of Big Plane, Small Plane, but like pretty much. Yeah. And for that reason, worse, if it was Mark Wahlberg on a little plane, that's not putting asses in seats like snakes. And also no Samuel L. Jackson, which is a big problem here.
Also huge,
yeah. I didn't hate the main whatever it is. What do we call her? U.S. Marshal. No, I was saying like the Marshal character, whatever whoever she was.
Yeah, she was fine.
But yeah, it didn't have really. She's not She doesn't have the star power of a, 2006 Samuel L. Jackson. But do you guys remember how this movie opens? What this movie decides to spend on my valuable time on? What we all spent a full minute of our lives doing?
Before we figure that out, Nando, I do need to know if I have some chunks or pieces that I need to say about the movie.
I cannot believe.
What sort of object am I interacting with to do that?
I cannot believe I forgot to mention this because this was really surprising to me. After last week, which is funny because we were talking about the gorge, something appeared on my doorstep, and it turned out to be something that appears to be, but is not the wheel, because it does spin and it has things written on it, but it has been mutated by the gorge, I assume. So instead of going tick, 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 it goes talk, 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 talk. But we have a gorgish wheel here.
Like a clock almost.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's how clocks were made. Somebody dropped a clock into the gorge, or a wheel into the gorge, and it came out as a clock. That's pretty handy. That's like one of those little crafting games where it's like wheel plus gorge equals clock. I don't play so many of them.
That's how you get a clock in Scribble Knots. Yeah.
Yeah, it really would be.
Nice.
But yeah. So anyway, you've got the gorged wheel, or the clock as some may call it, and that will spin it, talk, 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 and then see what comes up. But yeah, so like I was saying, we spent a full minute of our lives watching Topher Grace make ramen. It's boring, and also it's kind of funny though because there's a moose.
Not even. Do you guys think? Not even like actually making ramen, like cup noodles.
Yeah, that's true. And he's first of all, does Topher Grace just look like do you think they dressed Topher Grace up to look like a sex criminal or something? Does he have the traditional? I think something about the flannel and the square glasses makes me go like, oh, is this guy like?
The haircut's also hurting him.
The haircut, yeah. He seems
great.
much worse than he is when this movie starts.
Yeah.
And then when you find out what he did, you're like, whatever. But yeah, he's just enjoying his nice little cup noodles in a remote Alaskan cabin or something. And he finds, besides a moose, which does make a little knock on his door, then the cops just kick his door down and just come get him. And it's two police officers that I assume are also marshals. Well, no, two officers, just police with the marshal.
Yeah, I think they're just local law enforcement.
Did they not have to knock a little bit? I don't know. I guess not.
It's a motel, so if they get permission from the manager or the owner, then I don't think they have to.
Okay,
that's a good point. I guess they kicked that door down so quick. I'm like, he might have opened it. I don't know. Probably not, but. Yeah, maybe we would have tried something else. But he's like a little slimy guy who's like likes to talk his way out of problems and stuff. And he is arrested by this person that is the marshal. Her name in this movie is some name.
Madeline Harris, I believe.
Okay, yeah, Madeline, correct. So here's our main characters: Madeline, Daryl, and Winston. Daryl is Mark Wahlberg's character. Winston is Topher Grace's character. There's a couple other named characters who show up, but those are the important ones. So Madeline is, she's caught him finally, and he's like, I'd like to take a deal. And then she picks up the phone, and it's like, he says deal. And then they're like, all right. And then they just wait, I guess, for a couple of days. And then they give deal, and he's freed.
He said parlay.
Yeah, he really does.
I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. I think you get arrested and then interrogated, and that's where you can cut a deal with like a prosecutor and not the police officer.
Deal. I said deal. I said deal, so we have to deal.
Right? And I feel like in a movie like Snakes on a Plane, for instance, you just get to the part where it's like, we have to transport this person. Like, you don't need to do this beginning stuff. If you just go, at some point, a deal was struck earlier with some sort of local person or something. But because of how kind of concocted all of this has to be, with like, well, he can't have actually worked with the marshals yet and with FBI yet because they wouldn't be able to get him. This has to be this one weird situation where they're bringing him in for deal. I do want to point out his when his cup noodles goes off and they all almost shoot the microwave. Do you guys remember what he says?
He said it's just a microwave or something like that.
That's what you would say if you were a human being. But instead, because he's trying to be so fucking cute, and this character has already made like a bunch of stupid jokes and stuff, I'm pretty sure he says like chicken and broccoli or something.
What?
Like he says what it is. But
how strange.
Or excuse me, he says it's chicken noodle, but like just say it's a microwave, buddy, or like not a bomb. But I don't know. He's annoying.
In fact, talk.
Oh.
I feel like Topher Grace in this movie is afflicted with a terrible condition.
Oh no.
Which affects many actors these days, or many characters in movies. It's not the actor's fault. A condition known as Joss Whedon disease.
Oh man, yeah, he really does have Joss Whedon disease.
And it just feels like it's been like 20 years, and we still have people being like, we give him the quippy Joss Whedon dialogue, that will make everyone think he's funny and cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, listen, for all of his terrible, terrible, terrible faults, which there are many,
mm-hmm.
Joss Whedon was good at writing those jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever the screenwriter for this movie is not.
Well, it's interesting. The screenwriter for this movie, because I was curious about this as well. A person named Jared Rosenberg, who has not written any other movies. He edited a documentary or something at one point, but like not a writer. So I don't know what. I just don't know why. You know, he has this script because like Mel Gibson, I wouldn't say this. I think this movie could fit in Mel Gibson's style, but I don't think this is quite Mel Gibson-y. You know, like I mean, like I haven't seen Father Stew, but I would imagine Father Stew isn't as jokey as this.
Mel Gibson makes very self-serious movies.
Yeah, like that stupid. Yeah, all of them, and even like because he doesn't direct all of his movies, and I don't expect them all to be apocalypto or whatever. But like, yeah, looking at like Braveheart, God, what else did he? I guess not too many. Hacksaw Ridge. It just feels very out of that space, and I can't figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. Can you see this movie with another actor though? Like this could be a Ryan Reynolds vehicle, you know? He could be.
Is he Winston or is he Daryl?
Winston. Yeah. He could be Winston, I think. I mean, I guess he could be either of them, but it would. I don't think anybody could play the Mark Wahlberg role, but Mark Wahlberg. That's like
I'll say.
for him.
I guess this is a compliment to Topher Grace. I do feel like Ryan Reynolds wouldn't work in this role because when, you know, his life is in danger later and like he's supposed to be scared, Ryan Reynolds' whole thing is like being very disaffected. And so like, I don't think it would be believable as like he's afraid for his life.
No, I agree. That makes sense. But yeah, so he really does have Joss Whedon disease, and he's got like, I don't know. This movie kind of has it too, though. Like, there's the bit where he's got to pee, and then
oh god,
they kind of use it as like a joke, where it's not just that he made that joke, but now it's that she proposes that the cops have to pee him or something.
No,
whatever it is he's gonna do.
Yeah, no, it's ass wiping, my man.
You got to do the paperwork. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So
I also, my favorite, I said before when I was talking about how I felt about the movie, like they very clearly edited in some of these Topher Grace jokes. My favorite one of those is later on the plane when they're like not hearing him because you can't hear someone in a little cabin like that, really. Right. And he's like pretending to be them. He's like, oh, I'm a big Southern boy who sucks. Oh, I'm a scary lady, blah, blah, blah. And like, this is when they cut to his perspective of like doing the little hand motions with that. And it's clearly like two stunt doubles in the pilot, in like the pilot and co-pilot seat, just sitting there as we get close-ups on hands that could easily not be Topher Grace's.
Yeah, it's a good point.
as he does a 80-yard line of like making fun of them. And it's so sloppily made that he is moving the wrong hand as he does the voice.
No, really?
He's doing Mark Wahlberg, but moving the lady hand, and vice versa.
How can you keep all that together, you know? This is hard.
I know, right? How could they ever figure it out? Impossible task. We shouldn't be mad at them.
The movie does have some Joss Whedon disease, but I think Topher Grace gets the brunt of it.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh my God, I just watched it. You're right. They do the fucked up thing with the hands. I think when I saw it the first time, I was like, wait, is it the wrong hand? And then when you cut back to him, it's the right hand. And I'm like, oh, I guess the perspective made it confusing. But no, yeah, you're absolutely right. But listen, his reaction, I think, is completely valid to whatever Mark Wahlberg is doing in this. Like, this, I think, is what, I mean, I don't know if I would do this in front of him, but that's what I would think of this guy, you know? I'd just be like, this is a silly cartoon character, man. Like, what's going on? No one else is acting like he's a silly cartoon character, man, but me. But like, that is what he is. And I think we've said it already. This movie takes place in Alaska.
Yeah.
And these people that are this is the plot of the movie, basically. Madeline or Madison or whatever. Madeline is going to take Winston to like the feds or whatever. He has to travel from wherever he is now to the main airport. I want to say, is it Anchorage? Is that where he's going, or is that where okay, yeah, to go further to like Seattle, but like they have to take a little prop plane or whatever to do that. So they hire a pilot who is not the same person that brought them there, which is fine. Because like, I mean, I guess that would be a little weird because it's like how many people could possibly come and go, but I guess a couple. Because it seems like there are multiple pilots, but they get a guy named Daryl. Now they've never met Daryl before. They don't know anything about him. Everything he is going to give them is information that is coming from, you know what I mean? Like, it would seem that Daryl is taking the place of a character they know or would recognize in some way, but he's not, right? Like, he just decided to do a voice and make that part of his bit.
Yeah, it's like, here's how we all speak down here in Alaska. You know, we're down part of the Bible Belt, so we kind of talk like this, like my cousin Skeeter. You know, that's what we're all doing.
What you don't understand, Nando, is this guy's just like crazy. You know, he just like does random weird things because he's like sick in the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. He is that. And inside and outside of the movie, I think the problem with it is, for me, is that like there's a point where Topher Grace will get the like sees his thing, sees his the license or under Daryl's chair while they're flying, because Topher Grace is set, and to set the stage. So very small plane. Topher Grace is in a row of seat, like single seat behind the pilot and then co-pilot seats, which is where Madeline and Daryl are sitting. Daryl is obviously flying the plane, but Madeline's like in charge, so she's there. So they can't see him or really hear him because of the headphones. And because of the noise. That
will be wildly inconsistent throughout the movie.
Yep.
Yeah. And they kind of, that's true. But either way, so Topher Grace sees the pilot's license and is like, oh, hey, this is the license. And he kind of looks at it and notices that this guy doesn't look like the guy in the pilot's license.
Yep.
And I couldn't figure this out. Like, the way that you figured this movie would frame it, based on everything we know about the DVD cover, is that the guy in real life would have hair, but it would be clear to Topher Grace that this is a wig or something like that.
Right.
But none of that ever is part of it, right? Like, it's just, he fully looks completely different from this guy. Like, you would look at the picture and go, well, that's not him. And that's weird to me. I just don't understand this part of the movie. And it's the whole
Nando,
movie.
He's just sick in the head, you know? He just puts on little wigs for his disguises that don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, who's he disguising? They let pilots be bald. This isn't like color blindness where it's immediately, oh, sorry, kid, you don't have hair. You can't be a pilot.
No, actually, Nando, I have tried, and they do turn you away. They're like, you're too aerodynamic. It will throw the plane off.
Man.
You know, you'll just go spiraling out into the ocean. You can't be a pilot if you're bald.
Also, if the sun hits your head, it blinds your co-pilot and other planes and stuff.
Yes.
It's just it's too
huge problem.
catastrophic.
Yep.
That makes sense. And that is what I have to assume is happening here. Because the movie treats his baldness like a thing, like something that is revealed to us. But also, like I was saying, Madeline is not, this is not the person that flew Madeline in. So this doesn't have to even appear to be similar to someone she knows.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes out of his way to do the fakest Southern accent you've ever seen, which, like, okay. So what we'll learn is that the big boss guy of the crime part of the crime organization sent Daryl to kill Winston and presumably Madeline on this flight and, like, you know, get him. You would have to assume then he did that because this guy is good at it? Or do you think he's just the only pilot in that whole scheme of guys he could have picked? And he also has this insane personality of, like, improv that he wants to work into his pilot stuff. And, like, the big boss is like, don't fuck around with accents. And I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I think I got one that's
do you
pretty
think-
good.
Do you think among the Moretti crime family, Mark Wahlberg is always sending out tickets to his improv shows? Like, come on, guys, it's gonna be really funny. You know, me and Dave and Chris and Dave and Chris and Dave and Steve, we're really perfecting our act.
You know, it's
Yeah,
like
I
funny
mean-
because like we're a bunch of guys, but we're just like hanging out. You know, it's like guys being guys.
And I feel like if he did that, you would definitely like. But I guess the other thing that's weird about this is the Moretti crime family presumably comes from where? Just like in movies in general.
Well, in general, it's like New York, but I think
New York,
Wisconsin-
right?
City,
Italians,
baby.
yeah.
yeah.
But this is an Boston person.
Oh yeah.
But
But maybe
I
that's just another crazy accent
It
he's
might
putting
be.
on because I'm just sick in the head he is.
If this was the Irish Mafia or something, and that was what the Moretti family, they were the McReadys or whatever, then I would buy it because it's like, well, to hide his Irishness, his Bostonianness, he has to do an accent, and the only one he can pull off is this one. But like, it just, none of this makes any sense besides just what you're saying. Like, he's the Joker, and you know, crime is fun to him, and accents are fun to him. But and if I'm Madeline, and this starts, how many? Like, at what point do you go, like, what's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
this isn't it, right? Though, like, something's up. This is like a hidden camera show. But, like,
Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense.
How many? I mean, we bet maybe 15, 20 minutes into the movie before the conspiracy part of it actually starts going. Like, is she just really trusting? Did she never met someone from the South? Do we think that's it? Like,
I think
what's
that
wrong
might
with
be
her?
it.
Yeah. Is Mark Wahlberg just that good of an actor?
Oh well.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, right? We have to live in that possibility that he's just he's
She's
so
like, damn,
convincing.
You could be on Entourage. You're so good.
Yeah. And I think we have to get at it now because we kind of discussed it. Talk. I spun the wheel. Mark Wahlberg's plan. So what was he trying to do this whole time? And why didn't he do it minute one of the airplane flight?
So I believe Winston suggests, and Mark Wahlberg more or less says is true, is that he was taking them to some like abandoned airstrip out in the Alaskan wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to land and like tie them up and do weird sex stuff to them until he killed them.
Be real rapey. Real rapey.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so that's why he doesn't just slit their throats immediately, or at least slit her throat. Because maybe the crime family wants Topher Grace back for, you know, revenge and stuff. That I got. But like, yeah, it seems like if he didn't get found out by Topher Grace, they would have just kept going. You know, like there was no, I don't know. He just doesn't seem to have an agenda besides start flying and see where we end up.
I mean, yeah, I think he was. I don't know what his plan was once he started landing in like an abandoned airfield that's clearly not where they were going. Because like then I would think the person with the gun might try to do something while you're trying to land the plane.
And he doesn't seem to care that she has a satellite phone or like have any curiosity about whether or not she can like contact other people. So I don't know. This plan is just really weird.
Also, does he imply at one point he's not being paid? He just loves it for the thrill.
I think he says he would do it for free, not that he is doing it for free.
Okay.
Because
he's that much of a sicko, right, Diggins?
Because he's so sick in the head.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so we get a lot of not even exposition because it's not really that, but just him talking about his little southern, witticisms and stuff about how he's a crop duster. Daddy's a crop duster. He's got DDT in his blood, and
yeah, this is another thing. He talks constantly, which is just a great way to get found out.
Yeah. Oh man. And I know we'll get there, but when he is ultimately found out, she lays the easiest of traps, the clearest of I'm gonna get you, and he's like, I'm gonna fall right in this trap right here.
Guys, listen, if you are ever pretending to be somebody or like are in the middle of a lie and say you're from somewhere you've never been or whatever, and someone goes like, "Oh, do you know blank?" Just say no. No, never run into him. That's
never happened. Crazy, right?
Yeah. Have you guys ever tried to do not like this, but like tried to do a lie, and then you get caught in one of those, and you just have to go like, "It's my first day," and then the lie works. It's happened to me once. I was like at a. Without giving away detail, not that anyone would get in trouble. That's why I went to a brewery with a friend. And the friend got us all into a brewery tour by pretending that we were all part of their group, like that worked for the brewer, I guess, or something.
Okay.
And afterwards, we went to pick up cool stuff from the gift shop because it was a nice little brewery. And the person that took my card was like, "So, you work with John a lot?" And I just froze and was like, "I just started here last week. I don't really know any of these guys." And it worked. So that is what you do in this situation.
Oh my God.
That's
fucking crazy. That's
what you got to do. Just go, "Oh yeah, no, this is my first." But like the thing with him is he already gives up so much information about like, "I do this trip all the time, always going back between Alaska and here," that like he can't lie any of the rest of those lies. Like he has to keep digging. He also was covered in blood. That's another little detail. The potentially
no. Occupational hazard. It's an occupational hazard. Working on a plane.
What about that bullet wound shaped one on your arm?
Occupational hazard.
Yeah,
I'm exaggerating, but I really feel like Mark Wahlberg is like, I'm really gonna.
You're not exaggerating that much.
I mean, like, so for people that don't know, like, yeah, we've obviously we talked with Mark Wahlberg many times on the show. He loves to come on. He sounds like he's from Boston. This character does not sound like he's from Texas. He sounds like he's like a Bostonian doing an accent of Texas. Like, "Hey there, young
sounds like
Missy."
Yosemite Sam.
Yeah.
What in tarnation?
This is gonna be a daggone good flight there, miss. What y'all got, a criminal back there? Woo-wee, we don't have none of them criminals up in Alaska, where I'm from. Like, and I want to point out what easily is the craziest detail that I just noticed, because I've got the movie on in the background. Remember when Topher Grace finds the little like ID thingy, right? Like the paper, the driver's license?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember anything specific about the person in the driver's license picture or whatever? Like the plane
Big
license?
Beard?
Bald! Why is Mark Wahlberg pretending not to be bald? He missed all of the details about this guy and just fully was like...
Honestly, if you are just like the same... you present as the same gender and race as a person in a picture, you can just like, I feel like you could easily be like, "Oh yeah, I shaved the beard and grew some hair, like, so it looks totally different," but that's me.
Right, or is he planning on at some point revealing, like, when they're like, "Wait, this is a picture and this isn't you, you're bald." He'd be like, "No, I'm wearing a toupee. I'm really self-conscious about that. Thank you for pointing it out, murderer," or whatever it is you did that got you in these chains. And then you'd be like, "Oof, sorry." You got like
Didn't mean to go
Z-Wade.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, very weird. What else? What other thoughts do we have about this one? I don't know. I mean, the accent's the weirdest part of the movie, right? Is there anything else that's anywhere near as strange?
There's a part later that we could talk about, but it's a choice that's made by one of our, I guess, tertiary characters. That
don't.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
the
that's
clock
true.
will have something to say about that.
Yeah. But just to answer
characters,
Nando's question, things I found weird. It's like, Mark Wahlberg shit number 1, and then we'll talk about later. That's number 2 for me.
Yeah. And Mark Wahlberg in this moment does get caught, and he does that thing that characters in movies do. I'm trying to think of who's done this the best, or what's one of these where it's like a character kind of catches the thing. They're like, oh, like didn't like Scarlet Witch go like, fuck, I wasn't supposed to say her name, was I? And then it's like, oh, she secretly knows. But he just goes like, oh, I didn't want to get caught this quickly. So then
crawdads.
he starts beating her up and stuff, and gives her big old bruise on the face that she's gonna have to have for the whole shoot. Looks fine, I guess. But gets fully knocked out, and then the plane, like, this is the thing, like, he's a super killer man, but also, like, he's also a pilot, I guess.
Yeah, he is an actual pilot and knows how to fly a plane.
He knows how to fly a plane. He knows where to find, like, the air sickness bags real quick if he has to.
Yeah.
Like,
this might as well be his plane. Which, by the way, tuck. This is not his plane, right? And
no.
I assume that this plane is very specific. It is kind of wild how much he just like knows this plane immediately.
Yeah.
He should have sold plane more than like, I'm a native Alaskan. Like, it should have been more focused on plane, I think.
And like, you would think, oh, so I guess, he went to the plane early, sort of familiarized himself with it so that it would be more convincing. But then why did he leave all the evidence of what he did just lying around?
Right.
Yeah, you'd have to assume that, like, because you're just saying this kind of a Looney Tunes, the way that this scene would go originally in, like, the Looney Tunes version is he would be walking the two of them to the plane, and then you go, hold on a second, and then they get a little bit ahead of him, and then, like, Bugs Bunny would come up behind him and clonk him on the head with something, and then put his hat on, and then start walking again with them. Like, the switch over between the real pilot and Mark Wahlberg has to have happened in, like, a second, and it has to have happened, like, on the tarmac, I would assume. But yeah, he just
where no one saw also.
Yeah, Alaska, man. Not a lot going on.
I don't know
like when Craven the Hunter switched places with that prisoner and no one noticed.
So
that's
easy.
Right.
This is another like stupid one that I had written down. Talk. But like he goes like the air traffic controller and been like, all right, ready to go. And like you didn't think everyone from the tower is like,
yeah,
hey, man, you all right? Is that you?
Who the
have
fuck is that?
Foghorn Leghorn accent.
Yeah, how come the air traffic controller wasn't like, there's like 4 pilots here, and also we have a schedule, and I know it's supposed to be Daryl Booth right now, who you don't sound anything like. So, like, what's up?
Fuck is going on, man?
Yeah. This is so stupid. Especially because, like, now that I'm thinking about it, with my wonderful excuse and stuff, why wouldn't you just have him be like, hey, do you know this other pilot? And be like, no, I'm clearly from Texas. I'm not from around here. I don't know any of these people. I don't know why it says Daryl Booth. I'm from Texas. That's my name. And I don't know. Just like, none of this makes any sense. But he's a bad guy. And he's a bad guy, like we said, kind of like the Joker, who's got all the evil in his little heart. So after, he knocks out Madison, he goes and starts taunting Topher Grace, who is still locked up because he's all chained up in the back of the thing. Topher Grace, like we're saying, tries to bail his way out of this with information about million in crypto, because he was skimming off the top and stuff. Which is what you would do.
Mark Wahlberg is like, do I look like I deal in crypto? And I'm like, yeah, kinda.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd be like, Mark Wahlberg, we're about to set up a strategic crypto reserve. It looks like your deals in crypto doesn't really exist anymore.
That's a good point.
we almost may be turning the corner on it, where people who look like they dealt in crypto before probably don't deal in crypto anymore. They've probably moved on to like gold bars, and now like, I don't know, we'll see.
Or
but
AI somehow,
or yeah, something, yeah, it's but then he gets so he tries to kill what's her name, Madison. He tries to or Madeline tries to strangle her with some zip ties that he has for, zip tying people. And she electrocutes him with her taser gun.
Yeah, taser
now,
real good.
She really gets him. Yeah. It is not the last time he will get tased in this movie.
This man tased. Oh, sorry, you go.
I was gonna say, you get like this. Even I've never been tased. Neither of you guys have gotten tased, I assume, right?
No.
God, no. I fired a taser, but I've never been tased.
She fired at a person or a target?
Target.
No. So during this big fight, yeah, she tases him and then like knocks him out and starts trying to, fix everything. But then it turns out he's not knocked out, and he comes back and she tases him again so long that something pops or something, and he just appears to die. His smoke coming off of his skin.
It's like cooked him.
He has a huge electrical burn on his neck.
Yeah.
She tases him for like 20 straight seconds.
It's crazy. Like,
I think the taser's gonna run on batteries on Mark Wahlberg. Like, really bad.
Meanwhile, they're nose diving because
yeah,
a little kerfuffle. So like that's now part of this too, where it's like, oh my god, full nose dive.
I do think Talk the wheel did land on what I think is maybe my favorite part of the movie. Mark Wahlberg making the Dan Aykroyd face when he's getting tased. It is nothing like Dan Aykroyd's version of that, but it is a face that's like, oh boy, this is probably what it is, isn't it? Because it's just him.
This is what you would see every night if you were his wife.
It really is. It's that classic like Mark Wahlberg like actor getting tased, like, and then like eyes kind of up, and it's again, it's like a cartoon. He's the only character that knows that. But yeah, he gets tased so much that his head explodes or something. And she has to toss him off of her. And yeah, it's pretty upsetting. Yeah, that part's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange.
It's pretty hard to get a plane out of a nosedive, right? Like, just like in terms of plane stuff.
There's no way. Yeah, talk.
Yeah.
They crash land during that. Mm-hmm. They all die in a fireball. But like, and there's like a pause where she gets Mark Wahlberg off for him, and Topher Grace's like, pull up, and she's like, what? And then she, luckily just she yanks on the joystick just in time to level out the plane, and then doesn't start going like vertical up, like it goes to level out, like it's so stupid.
Sorry, I went and checked on Mark Wahlberg's face while he's getting tased.
Pretty sexy. Poor Marcolina Wahlberg, or whatever his wife's name is.
That's his daughter's name.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, listen. We've talked about this many times on the pod. Flying a plane is tough. Not impossible, obviously. Any of us could do it.
DJ and I have talked about flying a plane is tough. You've talked about flying a plane is very easy.
I think it's easy. Listen, if you have some helpful people over the radio and stuff, and you can get all that stuff going. I mean, flying this seems way harder than flying a jumbo jet, right? Because that's so mechanical. And so this is very like testy. But the fun part about this is it comes with all the fun agility of doing like a little backflip and shit when you're about to hit a mountain, and that becomes more dramatic. This plane will later take a hit that I'm pretty sure planes can't take.
Oh, yeah.
But
a plane like this, absolutely not.
Very brave. But yeah, I don't know. That some of the plane stuff in this movie was a little hard to take. A lot of it was kind of like, a lot of it looked fake, but in the way that I think a plane realistically would look fake. Because it's not doing anything. It's not like bouncing around all the time. Right. But then whenever they were actually flying it or doing something, it looked real weird. But it's pretty good because then they get Mark Wahlberg and they tie him up So he doesn't really have to do much anymore. I bet he didn't even have to show up on set most of those days. They probably just put the hoodie over his face. Yeah.
I bet all those shots where he's just sort of blurry in the background, it's not him.
I bet his character is bald in this because he has a stunt double who's bald or something. And he was like, I realize if I shave my head, I won't have to be on set those days. I can just have Dan do it. And then they did that instead. It's peak laziness. This is Johnny Drama of him. I guess it's one of the other Wahlberg brothers, Donnie Wahlberg or whatever. But okay. So then, very important. So they wrestle control of the plane back. So now their main two characters, Topher Grace and Downton Abbey, are doing the plane stuff. And Mark Wahlberg tied up in the back. His hair is exposed for all to see, his bald head.
Oh no!
The worst thing of all.
And also, like we said, he's been electrocuted to death twice. So they tie him up and like they go through all the motions, but why would you? He's dead. They start figuring out like, oh shit, we have to fly this plane. Also, we're probably not where we're supposed to be anyway. So where this is fucked. And then she realizes that she has a phone she can just use to call people. Oh wait, no, sorry. Before that, they use a frequency to they kind of go, like, Mayday, Mayday, anybody help us.
Do you remember what the guy says when she's like, help, I'm on a plane and we're fucking stranded? Do you remember what the guy says?
Was he the one that's like, is this
a prank? Put you up to this?
What do you think's going on, man? This shit probably never happens. Dick Frank's over there being like, oh, I'm going to get him.
And also, I feel like after the first one of those, you go, well, no. And then he's like, but he does, to be fair, drop it eventually. Yeah. And enough that I'm like, oh, is he trying to fuck with Frank now? And then at the end, we're going to find out he's like, just kidding, fucker. You're not really tricking me. But yeah, she gets some help from a guy, kind of, a little bit. He tells him to put the autopilot on and stuff, which is handy. Good information to have. But then they're like, oh, we have a phone we can use to call whoever we want. And get a bunch of other kind of somewhat memorable actors involved in this movie. The first they call her boss. Now her boss, we learn, but we do learn immediately, is played by Leah Remini of King of Queens fame, and Scientology and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And she is a character named Van Sant. And she is the director of the Marshals or something. What is her job?
She's not the director. She's just Madeline's direct superior.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And she's like, Madeline, they know stuff. Or she's like, Van Sant, they got all the information on us. They knew who we were and what to get us. And there's a whole big plot. Also, we're flying a plane. We don't know how to do that. But we got to get it to where we're going. And there's this funny little ticking clock where they're like, the judge says, if you don't come by 3 o'clock, we're going to throw the kids down. I'm like, we'll tell them the plane got kidnapped.
Yeah, what the fuck is hijacking?
Everywhere.
Like, God damn.
It's very exciting. Like, we have new guys for the whole thing. We got a guy that now he's dead, but he was bald and he could be part of it. We've got a lot of other court stuff we're going to have to do after this. But yeah, so Leah Remini's like, all right, well, we'll figure out a way to get you down. I can't believe someone sold you out like that within our organization. I can't even imagine who that was. All right, goodbye. And then they get the person who's going to help them land the plane. I just want to point out that when I saw this movie, and when I saw because I looked this up on IMDb, I did not look at the summary, obviously, otherwise I would have done better. I saw the Hasan brothers, 2 actors, both credited as Hasan. Did either of you notice this?
I did notice this because the cast list was so short.
Yeah, voice Hasan is not the same as body Hasan.
Different guys.
And that sucks for voice Hasan, right? Or body Hasan. Neither of them have the whole total package. They both can't glide a plane or like talk a plane down and also be a hunk who can go on a date after this. Really weird choice.
Speaking of Hasan and weird choices, talk. I have a thing here called sexually harassed by 911.
How dare you?
Yeah, come on now.
How dare you?
All parties were consenting, probably. Yeah.
He nailed.
She's apparently quite receptive to it, so whatever. But
is she, or is this some Stockholm? Well, let's explain. No one saw this movie. Let's explain the situation here.
Yeah, Diggins, you can explain Hasan.
So Hasan is an actual pilot, who I guess the air marshals get in touch with. I think he's a pilot at Anchorage. Well, he must be because he shows up there. So they get him and they patch him through to Madeline so that he can guide her through what she needs to do to pilot the plane. And he's a very like competent professional. He's like, okay, go to this here, do this, throw that switch, turn the autopilot on. Okay. But in the middle of all that, he's also like, by the way, you sound sexy as hell. Let's go on a date.
Hell yeah.
Just shoots his shot.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was trying to like break the tension because it's such like a like horrifying situation. It's like, because I think it's like, and when you land, you can take me out to dinner. And she's like, what?
I thought that at first too. I thought, oh God, he's just being a little silly to sort of like, calm her down. But he keeps going with it. He like hits it over and over again hard. Like he actually wants this date.
I mean, what I'm guessing, or I guess the way I read that is he wanted to, break the tension a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then she was so receptive to it. He was like, I'm going to turn this into a thing. Like they fell in love over the thing. Like it's a beautiful little story where he's very kind to her on the plane thing. And, but like, she's like giggling and immediately into it. Topher Grace is even like, what the fuck is going on over there? And to be fair, Hasan, very good at this job, whatever. Like, it almost seems like this whole job is just guide pilots down in planes. Cause
it happens so often. It's just like,
he's super chill.
Yeah. It's a weird choice by the movie too. Cause like they could have had him do like a different bit besides like, I'd love to take you out. Right. Cause what's his move for men? Like when a man is in this situation.
Hey, DJ, he could be bi. We don't know.
That's true.
That's true. I hope that's the case then. I hope he's always just shooting a shot.
I hope so too. I hope he's like he on his first day when he first had to like talk someone through like piloting a plane, like he was just like really nervous, and so he started hitting on them as sort of like a reflex or whatever, and it worked. And now he's like, I guess that's my move now.
Yeah,
I calm them down by start hitting on them.
Yeah. Well, now I'm looking at it. Okay, so I watched the beginning of the scene again, or just the beginning of their conversation, because it's really specific about like what is the verbal linguistics that gets us from talking about plane to talking about the potential date. He tells her to do stuff, and then there's a little bit of pause, and then he says, "What are we doing next?" And she says, "Excuse me," and he says, "I'm going to eat dinner. Do you want to come eat dinner with me or something?" If that conversation goes a little bit different, where there is like genuine awkwardness where he's like, what are we going to do next? And she's like, you want to go on a date with me? And he's like, I didn't want to go on a date with you, but I mean, maybe we'll see. And then it kind of goes, then it's kind of natural. It's weird, but it works. Right. The way that it happens, he really is just like throwing it out there of like, let's see if she says yes to date. I think if she said no, he probably still would have landed the plane. But I don't think he would have been as psyched about it. He probably would have been like...
He wouldn't have shown up on the tarmac.
No, yeah. Right, he would have been like, someone text me a picture to see that it landed and stuff. And you'd be pretty impressed if you were him that you got it, down. Although the Atlantic's rough. I don't think if I were him, I would want to be there just in case they all die. But I don't know. But yeah, he's just like smooth, cool guy. Pretty good. What's Mark Wahlberg doing throughout this part of the movie?
He's just saying more sex stuff.
He's a little sleepy. He's a little sleepy guy.
Yeah, he's saying how they're gonna do stuff to you in prison, Topher Grace. Oh baby, I'm gonna do stuff to you. We're all doing stuff.
What does he keep calling him? Slim or like
Twiggy? Yeah. Or wait. What did he call him?
I believe Twiggy.
I think it was Twiggy too. No, I think you're right. Now I'm like, wait, was it supposed to be like, because Twiggy's like a model? Does he look like Twiggy?
I thought it was like,
I don't think so.
He's skinny.
Yeah, I think he's just calling him. I think he's just trying to call him a twink.
Oh, a twink.
That'd be really funny.
No. I'm just saying he's calling him skinny.
Oh.
Like,
Mhm.
whoever wrote this movie didn't know the word twink, because that's what he's trying to say, but he doesn't have the
Well,
words for it.
But Mark Wahlberg's character wouldn't know that either, right? Or would he? Would he be like up on all the current lingo? Would he know that he's not a twink, but like I don't feel like he would just. I feel like he'd just use a couple of slurs that he probably would use in an earlier draft of the script that they probably had to cut out when Mark Wahlberg was using them in the alternate takes, apparently. But like, yeah, which everybody loves now, so we'll probably see that version of it someday. Yeah, he's pretty boring in this. Not good.
Speaking of boring, what happens next?
I mean, that's pretty much it, right? Like, there's a lot of that. So there's bits where he's like, so first of all, there's a knife that's floating around the cabin, not floating around, but like was kicked because that was near the license. So he finds that and kind of tries to use that to cut himself free. It doesn't work. He knows something about her. So this is where it gets even more personal,
right?
Because he starts taunting her about that other person that she took and didn't do so well with and killed and burned to death or something.
Yeah, he sort of implies that she murdered someone in her custody, and that turns out to not be true even a little.
Nope, not even a tiny bit. And it doesn't feel like it's a mind game. So like for me, if I'm like writing this movie or just like expecting beats that are going to happen, the main next one is Mark Wahlberg has to convince, Topher Grace to kill her or something, like the guy who's in chains has to trick the other one into letting him out, and then just keep doing that.
You and I can go free. Neither of us got to testify or go to prison.
Right. Yeah. Like, I know how to fly this plane. They told me to kill you, but now, you know what? You give me that crypto money, you're good. I'll drop you off and buzz your head and no one will recognize you. And then you'll be fine. But yeah, instead he just taunts them, to the point where he, gets her so distracted by this talking about the whole thing. This and this isn't the part where she like fully explains it, but he's just bringing it up enough that she almost crashes the plane into a mountain.
Yep.
And only doesn't do that. And even me in the movie was like, take off the fucking autopilot, take it off. And they're like, oh, it won't work. But then they managed to pull up just in the nick of time and just plow through a humongous thing of snow, I guess.
Yeah, that plane would crash. That plane can't make it through that much snow.
Yeah. That's how the beginning of Back in Action starts, I think. It's like a plane hits a mountain and just kind of goes. And that's like a nicer plane than this.
I also want to say in that scene when they're like going towards the mountain, Mark Wahlberg is also like, it's fine. It'll be fine. We're not going to crash. When they were clearly going to crash, meaning he was just like, I don't know. I guess we're all just going to fucking die here. I don't care.
Well, it's weird too, because when she tries to pull up and when he like, everybody gets scared, we even get a zoom in on him going like, uh-oh. But like, yeah, he didn't not want to do that or something. I don't know, man. And this is where I thought, oh, the plane crashes and now they have to like survive in the, wilderness or whatever.
And now it becomes the gray.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to form a little yellow jackets together or something. That's pretty fun. But instead the plane's just cool. And, I mean, maybe a plane person can write in and tell us that this is how planes would go if they went through a big thing of snow. But I don't think
this section would be a problem.
And, whatever. This part of the movie's extra dumb. Because, she starts taunting him. Or he starts taunting her. She puts on a pair of his sunglasses for reasons that I couldn't quite figure out.
You look cool.
Besides just, it's sunny. Yeah. So that's fair. And they do look cool. But then he's going to be able to use them for dealings. So we'll get to it. But he starts talking about like, oh, she killed her last guy. She kills people all the time. Do either of you guys want to explain what the actual thing that happened was to her that is very much not what Mark Wahlberg is describing?
Like, I barely remembered. I don't know, Diggins. Remember better than
I remember it perfectly. So basically, she was guarding another witness who was going to testify against like a cartel guy.
Mm-hmm.
It was like an ex-girlfriend of a cartel boss or whatever. And they've been in a hotel or a motel room for days. And the girl's like, I want to take a shower without being watched. And she's like, fine, you can do it. So she handcuffs her to like the shower bar and lets her shower unsupervised. But apparently having staked out for 3 days waiting for this exact moment, a cartel man, a sicario, as she calls it,
Mm.
like smashes in the window and throws a Molotov cocktail into the bathroom and lights the whole thing on fire. And because the poor girl is handcuffed, she can't get out and she burns to death, and Madeline runs away.
Yeah.
But she was in the shower. Surely she had water to not burn to death.
Also, Madeline, I understand this is traumatic for you. What were you supposed to do in that situation?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you're getting to the handcuffs and unlocking them through the on-fire bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
If you had been in there supervising her, you would just both be dead.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see a version of this that goes better because you did something differently.
I guess hypothetically she could have escaped the bathroom if she wasn't attached to it. Like if they were both in the bathroom, Molotov cocktail comes in, she unlocks the thing and they can both leave before it goes crazy. Although I feel like a fire caused by a Molotov cocktail is going to spread really quick.
Yeah, that's the point.
No, there's a lot of water in there, guys. You're not thinking. You just put that fire out with all that water.
Yeah, that's
Molotov
true.
cocktails and
Water.
oil fire. Water doesn't put it out.
Nah, you use more water and it's fine. Just use your heads, guys. Come on.
Yeah. We were thinking about this. I forget why this came up. We were like, what happens if like your phone battery goes on fire? What's like the trick? What are you supposed to do? Do either of you guys know what this is? What would you like are supposed to do with something like that?
If that ever happens to me, I'll die.
You will, because all the things we looked up are bad. So don't put it in water, I think, because water makes it worse, obviously. But you can't also like put it in like salt or sand or something like that, or like cat litter or whatever you would use to maybe like, if there was a really specific kind of fire that would work with. I think what we came up with was like maybe try to put it in like a pan or something, like cover it. I think maybe that's the plan. But the problem is it's a self-sustaining fire. So I don't know. You know, you can't.
Oh.
There's too much stuff. That's the thing. There's too much stuff in our lives that if it lights on fire, it's like, well, I guess the whole thing's done. We don't have any plan for this. It used to be that fire would just be beaten by water and maybe smoke, you know, would be bad. But what's the worst that's going to happen, you know? Well, as long as you got water, you're good.
Fires can be beaten by putting them in a frictionless vacuum.
That's true.
Okay.
So just keep one of those on hand at all times.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird that Mark Wahlberg knows this, which we'll get to, but it is also weird that, I mean, it's not weird, I guess, that she feels bad about it, but it doesn't feel, I don't know.
It doesn't, I don't feel like they would put her on leave for, like, I mean, they might put her on leave for, like, having suffered a traumatic event, but like, everyone in the movie acts like, you know, you fucked up and you're getting demoted.
Yeah.
It's like, again, I don't really see what she could have done differently.
It's like,
no, I'm with you.
You shot a kid in a playground and now we're putting you in the mailroom.
Mm-hmm.
Please, DJ, they put you on paid vacation for a couple weeks until you can go back to work.
That's true. I feel like this one, it's especially funny because, like, I think for her, this situation is bad. Like, she has to, you know, is the protocol thing that she didn't stay with her in the fire or that she locked her? Like, would they have
that she let her shower unsupervised, I think, is the protocol violation.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. She should have wiped Topher Gray's butt, you know? Or Topher Gray's butt in the beginning.
She made the cops do it.
Yeah,
see, but what happens if the cops were secretly bad and they murdered him in there, you know?
Well, Nando, how many people can possibly be paid off by the Morettis?
You'd never believe it. More than a couple, perhaps all but one, it seems. Well, two if you count both Hasans. But yeah, we'll get to it. So then they fly some more. You know, they fly and they fly and they fly. They learn the secret of each other, and then they're like, wait, but they know even more than we thought. This is where it gets kind of stupid. I mean, it's been stupid, but this is where, like, it gets real plotty. It's like, oh, he knew stuff about us that he shouldn't have known, which means that person Van Sant was probably in on it. So she calls Van Sant's boss. And this is another character that I've kind of recognized, although I didn't recognize the voice, but I could have. People may recognize the name Paul Ben Victor plays a character named Coleridge. This is I guess the boss of the marshals or whatever.
Yeah, I think he's the director of the air marshals.
Yeah, he does a lot of work in stuff like this, including apparently he was in the movie Plane. Yeah. So
was he playing the director of the Air Marshals?
I don't know. He's a character named Terry Hampton. Honestly, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe it's a plane. Maybe this takes place in the Planeverse.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. So, well, okay. So, Trailblazers, which is the name of the company, right? That like is a bunch of cool guys who are going to come and save them in Plane, are led by this guy. Okay. So this guy could maybe have positioned himself in the last couple of years as director of the Marshals somehow, but I feel like most people probably recognize him from The Wire, I think, or not The Wire, excuse me, the other one. Oh no, The Wire, yeah, where he plays a character named Vondas. I don't know who this is, but anyway, he's there and he's like, oh man, she calls him and says, hey, my boss is a bad guy. She's in on it. You got to get her. And then he's like, well, man, that's a big thing to say, but okay, I'll get her. And then he says, and if you need anything else, you got to call me at my house and wherever the fuck it was, proper noun. And then one of our characters goes, proper noun. Wait a second. We said proper noun earlier. Oh my God. And it's apparently where the payments were going, which means not only was Mark Wahlberg in on it, and, you know, presumably everybody else has been in on this as part of the crime thing, but this character, played by Paul Ben-Victor, Coleridge, the director, is also in on it. So Coleridge is going to get them all killed. And he's like sends what's her name to get arrested, tries to arrest what's her name, Lee Remini in the process. But you know, they know he's bad.
Why did Madeline think that her boss was suspicious? Like,
because the movie's bad, and that's a cliche. So,
well, because she was the only other character in the movie up until that point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, it's got to be her, right?
And then,
yeah.
Because like, because this movie is like, you know, only 90 minutes. These scenes happen like back to back, where she's like, "Oh no, it's my boss." And goes like, "Oh no, it's a director." Right, and then she calls the boss back to be like, "Hey."
And both of these are just very urgent phone calls where we just see this actress having to like look around, like,
yep,
whoa, huh, whoa, no, while the other person is a disembodied voice, and occasionally we cut to Topher Grace being like, "Huh."
Yeah.
Do you remember when she calls? So she calls the boss to be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I told the director that you were the leak, but he's the leak. My bad, girlie. Sorry." Do you remember what she says at the end of the call?
It's like, "I love you, but fuck you," or something like that, right?
I love you, but you're a bitch.
Yeah, that's what it was. I feel like if I'm her, I also would be. If I'm like Madeline, I'd also be like, maybe she's still in on it. You know,
yeah,
maybe they're all in on it. Why would that not be true anymore?
Well, so, you know, 3 is the pattern, right? So she's found one person paid off by Moretti. She's found 2 people paid off by Moretti. You don't think that everyone could be in on it until you get to the 3rd person paid off by Moretti.
Right.
That's fair. And yeah, man, I do trust. Like, part of me is like, Hasan is his hands are so clean. He's being so nice.
Yeah.
Maybe he's part of it. But then the other part of me is like, girl, ditch these guys and just work with Hasan. Use sexy code words and stuff. And because everybody else is trying to get you, but I don't think he is.
Yeah.
It seems unlikely.
It would be so funny if the end of the movie, well, we'll get there.
Well, the end of the movie, Hasan could come out and she'd be like, "Oh, you're Hasan?" And then other Hasan would come out and he'd be like, "No, not Hasan." And then he'd stab the guy. That's why they had 2. Speaking of stabbing, so Mark Wahlberg manages to break out, and he kills them all again.
Yeah.
He's really good at this. This time what he does to kill them all is he uses the knife to stab Topher Grace a couple times, and then he tries to strangle Madeline with the big, like, the seatbelt. And he, like, really gets her with that seatbelt strangulation. Like, so much that you're like...
She has, like, cuts and bruises on her neck for the rest of the movie.
It's so bad that, like, in a scene like that, you're usually like, oh, no, she could be able to hold her breath long enough. But I'm like, I think he's going to cut her head off with this. Like, But then Topher Grace very bravely takes the knife out of his own body and uses it to stab Mark Wahlberg. And then what Mark Wahlberg
I don't think he actually gets Mark Wahlberg. He just cuts the seatbelt.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he stabbed Mark Wahlberg. It doesn't. Oh, yeah, that's true. It doesn't really matter because what's going to happen to Mark Wahlberg is so much dumber because he still has the gun. He has everything. And he starts shooting at them. But then Madeline realizes that there's a flare gun that we kind of found when they were looking for something in the first aid kit.
Yeah.
Scissors, yeah. So she shoots a flare at him in the plane, and
he goes
then
like,
while
he's
while he's
like
distracted,
propelled back with the flare.
And like it's tough, you know. I mean, it doesn't look like a great situation for him. She bonks him on the head with a fire extinguisher, but then she has to open the plane because the plane's full of gas. And like, if I were Topher Grace, I'd be real worried she's just gonna get sucked right out of that plane. But she doesn't, so it's all good. Pretty cool. So by this point, you're like, well, this character's definitely dead now, though, right? Like, he got shot with the flare, and then he got hit in the head so hard that he fell asleep with a fire extinguisher. And whatever happened to make him fall, because also the plane's in free fall again, because the plane's always in free fall. So, like, this whole situation was a mess. They do tie him up again, even though he's dead. And now we get a little bit of like, oh, wait, you know, Topher Grace sacrificed himself, kind of, to save her. But also now he's going to die because he is big stabbed. He
a lot of blood.
He needs to get safety ASAP, but he can't because the plane's too far. And this is where we were talking about this before. The movie's like, we got 20 minutes left. And she's like, that's not good enough. And then it's 5 minutes if we use full power. So they burn all their gas and go as fast as they possibly can. Which I guess I understand why you wouldn't do that from jump, but like, I don't know, man. Maybe try to speed this up. It seems like this is a bad situation. And Topher Grace is like fully dying over there. Like, his face is turning blue. She gives him morphine so he won't, you know, go into shock, but like,
so it won't be annoying for the rest of the
movie.
Yeah. Good to know. And then they try to land the plane.
Yeah.
With the help of Hasan.
Although, real quick, right before that, talk.
Mm-hmm.
We do get a scene I like to call playing your cards close to the table. Where she calls Coleridge again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
and he's
God.
like, don't worry, I took care of the Van Sant situation. You were right. And she's like, oh. Well, too bad I know your whole deal, Coleridge, you son of a bitch. I know everything. And even though I'm in this precarious situation with the plane, and you have all the power to frame me or have me killed or whatever, I'm letting you know right now that I'm coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
And what's also crazy, she goes, oh, so you were right about her. It's a shame she got T-boned while driving. And then Madeline's like, oh my God, what have I done? I killed her, basically. And I'm like, oh, is he like bluffing or something to like get her off her game? But then like it gets to the end of the movie and we don't hear from her. So I guess she did die, which is fucking crazy. So Madeline should be worried about the cartel lady that she didn't really get killed, but she for real got her boss killed. Like for real got her boss killed.
That's true. And also the way that he explains it, he's like, don't worry. It's like, we found out Madeline was dirty, but don't worry. She got T-boned and she's dead now. It's like, are those two things relate? Did you guys T-bone her? Like, I'm sorry, you forgot to put in the code. You're just telling me what you tell the mafiosos, I guess, or something. But remember, I'm the one character who's not in on it. So be gentle with me. But yeah, I guess you're right. I guess they did T-bone her and she died. Bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of fucking bummers, I'm spinning the wheel one more time. Tick, 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 tick. Somehow,
What?
Talk, excuse me. That's what it would sound like if it was the wheel, but it's the gorged wheel. Talk. And it landed on somehow the grossest thing we'll see all year, probably. Let's talk about Mark Wahlberg's degloving. For no good reason. We gotta watch Mark Wahlberg. I know. The second time we came back to this shot, I got real worried. The first time, because they started showing it, because he's handcuffed now again. Last time he was handcuffed, but like in a weird way that let it he could get free if he broke the thing that he was handcuffed to. This time he can't. But he's still alive because this man cannot be killed. And he has a handcuff. So, and because everything's going on in the front, they're trying to land the plane. They can't really see what's going on with him. Although I do want to point out, there were some parts earlier where like Topher Grace was just looking in the back of the plane, and like Mark Wahlberg was like actively trying to saw the little thing with his like thing, and he kind of stops right before Topher Grace sees him. And I'm like, come on, man, you know that's what he's doing though, right? Like, make sure there's nothing in his hands. But I guess he's so creepy. You're like, I hope he just dies from all those injuries he just got. Like, hope his insides are cooking, and I never have to speak to him again.
Tasing and the flare and the the concussions, like.
But this guy, so he takes the one hand, and I'm sure people by me saying this know what it is, but like he breaks the thumb, right, and then pulls the rest of his hand through the handcuff. Ugh. And like this is fucking Passion of the Christ level bullshit, Mark, like, or Mel Gibson. Like,
it is
we see the whole thing.
Unnecessarily detailed.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter because he's gonna fly out of the plane, but like we didn't need to know how or why. We just kind of needed to expect that he would.
Could use just sheer strength to break the handcuffs, like Hulk smash, right? Be like, okay,
yeah. The thing, you know, maybe they're handcuffed to it because this whole thing is like a very rickety plane. Maybe the beam that he's handcuffed to can be torn out, and in a moment of bliss like this, where they're landing, it's like, fuck, all bets are off. I got to do what I got to do. Where like before he wouldn't have done that because it maybe damaged the plane. It would make it hard to land. But like, like I said, it doesn't matter because as they're landing the plane, and it fucking, you know, this is the only thing that is typical of our modern day. The plane lands practically upside down after skidding a bunch and hitting a bunch of other stuff. It hits the ground. There's a bunch of firefighters that are chasing it. I imagine this is how this really works, kind of, but like, probably not though, right? Because all the shit that they drop off the plane almost crashes all the fire trucks. Like the tire, and like the wing. I feel like you would probably want them to be where the plane is going to land at the end of the runway and not at the beginning and chasing it. But whatever, they're very fun.
Also important to note, to stop Mark Wahlberg at this point, Madeline has shot him twice now.
That's true. Yeah, it's just cool of her. They had a little conversation earlier when she was like, I'm going to shoot you, and he's like, but then you know what's going to happen, the bullets are going to ping pong off the things or whatever, and like maybe it'll hit me, and
it's gonna hit
I don't know,
it'll hit the fuel lodge, and then what are you going to do? What are you going to do, that sweetheart? What are you going to do? Play hide the hot dog?
They're out of fuel by then,
would do that.
So that's no longer a concern.
That's I think he true. That's true.
Like
I know. I'm saying like,
why she could do it.
That's why she's go with it. Yeah, it's fair. And then they land the plane, and like we're saying, it's a mess, but they both survive. The pilots come on. There's the one kind of
what happens to Mark Wahlberg?
Well, like he flies out of the plane. He gets thrown from the plane, and gets hit by a truck.
Yeah, like one of the
right,
fire
or something
trucks,
gets hit by one of the fire trucks. Yeah,
he gets pancaked on the pavement. We see him go under the wheels.
That was wild.
Now, I feel like,
and then to close that thread, just like a little later when they're in the ambulance and the EMT goes to Madeline. It's like, the other passenger aboard, I'm sorry, but they didn't make it. And she's like, oh, thank God. And the woman's like, what the fuck? What are you, psychopath?
Yeah, this is like the end where, like, at the end, she should have stood up and be like, by the way, that one that you hit was bad. Don't feel bad about it. He was a bad guy. He said he wanted to assault everybody and kill all of your friends and neighbors.
Probably.
He was going to kill this guy's grandma or mom or something like that. That was another plot point we kind of forgot about. But he had a picture of his mom's house. And he was like, oh, she put her dentures back in after I got done with her. Which is like, yeah, this is some of the fun improv lines we got from Mark. So then it's over. You know, we're good. Everybody gets off the plane. We see Hasan for the first time.
Yay.
He's handsome instead of whatever his voice guy looks like, apparently. And like, listen, I get maybe their connection is so strong she can tell it's him. But also imagine if that wasn't Hasan. She was just like, Hasan. And he was like, oh no, my name's Steve. I'm here with the airplane. Like, oh, never mind. I just kind of assumed Hasan would be here.
Yeah.
But it is him. Lucky. But unfortunately, behind Hasan, you can see a very sinister looking bald man, a trait that we can only describe as devious from this point on, who walks into the EMT, like into the ambulance that Topher Grace has been put in. And Hasan notices that Madeline acts weird when she sees this. So she goes and runs and opens it up. And what this guy was doing in the visible thing, like you could totally see this from outside if you looked into the windows. And these are the two people that just got out of this plane. So like there's probably a couple more eyes on them than zero. Is he's just put a plastic bag over his head and it's going to strangle him. Like, wild. Not going to like eject him with something or something like that. Just kill him like that. So she shoots that guy. Awesome. And then he has left the phone on. No one tackles her
and be like, well, you just shot an EMT. What's wrong with you?
No, he was bad too, you guys. It's complicated. A lot of you guys are probably bad. I'll line up and shoot the ones I don't like, and then we'll be good.
To be fair, as Nando said, she throws open the doors, and he is standing in clear view, strangling a dying man with a plastic bag. So I feel like everyone sees her shoot him, and they're like, oh my God, well, I mean, I guess. Yeah. And,
and while he is doing this, he has the phone. He's strangling with one hand and on the phone with the other hand, saying, I'm strangling him. I'm doing
it right now, boss. Don't worry.
Seems to be about half dead. Well, 75% almost there.
Micromanager. He needs up to the second updates all the time. It's really really driving productivity into the ground.
So then he picks up the phone, or he dies. And she picks up the phone and he's like, hey, is it done? Did you do the evil murder I want you to do? And she's like, oh, it's done. All right, fucker. I'm going to get you for doing all the bad stuff and killing Leah Remini. And all the firefighters and Hasan are just looking in going like, this seems bad.
Yeah.
They didn't see I guess they saw the shot, but they don't come to help, but they also don't restrain her. They're just like, these wacky U.S. Marshals, am I right? Yeah, good for Hasan. I think Hasan and her, you think they're going to be in love?
Yeah, I think they're going to get married and have like 10 kids.
Well, I think the problem with that is she doesn't live in Anchorage.
Yeah, that's true. She's probably not going to like going there that often, considering all this stuff. Probably not going to be a big plane person in general for the rest of her life.
What's too bad, because she's an air marshal.
Yeah. Well, she could get a desk job.
Well, she killed her boss, so
that's true. And then she has to kill her next boss, the guy above that. So she's going to be in charge of the marshals soon.
Yeah.
I assume this is a designated survivor situation where whoever is, she's like been around the longest and she's killed all the other ones.
Yes, a designated survivor scenario. Oh man.
Oh, could we only dream? Yeah.
What a thing we think about now.
Careful, guys. Only like the ABC show. Who is
and
that?
The Incredible Hulk
we think about
movie.
that show and how good it was. What did you think?
Show Designated Survivor.
What was that?
Yeah, it's called Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
He was like the secretary.
One of the Kiefers. What other Kiefers are there?
Do we have other Kiefers?
Well, there's Donald
You're the one who
Sutherland.
said that.
His dad is an acting Sutherland.
One of our other Sutherlands. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The other one's dead, but also the show. He was alive when the show was on, so technically, he could have been in there. Maybe he even was. Yeah. I feel like they probably did stuff together. I assume they're related, right? Kiefer and Donald Sutherland. Probably. I don't know.
Is Kiefer Sutherland a nepo baby?
Probably. He's an actor. They're all fucking nepo babies.
One.
Mark Wahlberg, nepo baby. Jack Quaid. Probably Topher Grace, maybe. I don't know. I don't really know Topher Grace's deal. But
Donald Sutherland is indeed his father.
Okay. Nice. But yeah, so then that's the end of the movie. Like I said, there's a post-credit scene where her and Hasan have sex in my dreams. I'm going to draw it and send it to Mel Gibson. Hopefully puts it in the movie. Besides that, though, really nothing else going on. And I don't want to say this bombed because I think I looked this up. It cost about $25 million to make and made about 40. So it's probably not getting a sequel.
It cost even that much to make.
I guess I figure Mark Wahlberg, his quote is probably quite high. And the plane stuff didn't look amazing, but it looked good enough that if the movie was good, I'd be like, this is a pretty good movie. Like, I wouldn't be like, well, the plane stuff looked awful. There was only one or two bits where the plane stuff looked pretty weird. But yeah, I think I don't know. 25 seems about right. And yeah, this is the first movie from one of our Hollywood ambassadors since their ambassadorships has begun.
Ooh.
Do you think it's off to a great start?
Nope.
Or they're fucked?
Yeah, let's try someone else. Let's get someone else in there, rotating position.
Well, but it wasn't woke, so
It wasn't.
I think it was
woke.
actually great.
Or was it woke though?
It went broke, so.
It went broke. Woman, Hasan, and Mark Wahlberg is the bad guy. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But made by Mel Gibson, I feel like gives it major points.
That's true. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like this is probably not woke. But I don't know what our next Hollywood ambassador movie is going to be. I guess maybe Samaritan 2 or something.
Oh.
Eventually, Stallone's going to have another one of these.
Passion
I don't know what alarm.
Get one of those.
Ooh. Wait, which one?
Passion of
the Christ
Yeah,
2.
we're getting a sequel.
Apparently, it's not until next year. Whoever picked that in the thing, someone, the next day they were like, "Ain't coming out this year."
I feel real bad for whatever poor sap picked that for their predictions.
There is there's a new Sylvester Stallone movie called Alarum, which is spelled Alarum, which has to mean something, but just reads like how he probably phonetically says the word alarm.
Alarm.
You know, like alarm. He is alarm. But it's got Scott Eastwood and him in it, but I don't think I don't know when this came out, but yeah, I don't know. But are they gonna make another National Treasure? Would they put John Voight in the next one of those? Remember there was a while where it seemed like they were maybe gonna make a third one.
They made a TV show.
Did they?
Yeah.
And I know. Did anybody watch it though? Like
No.
Nobody watched it, right? Okay. That'd be interesting if it was good. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like this one's gonna come out anytime soon. Sorry about our ambassadors. They should get more guys. Should hire some other non-woke visionaries like
Drea DiMatteo.
Drea DiMatteo, Bill Maher, he's not woke. And then see if they can fix this Hollywood thing because it's broken, baby. But you know it's not broken. The things we're going to recommend in the segment. You guys want to make some recommendations?
Yeah.
I would love
All right. DJ, what do you have to recommend to the fine people?
Yes, so recently I've just been totally consumed with different reality television and was wrapping up the Oscar movies, so I didn't have a lot for other things, but I did start watching a little thing that unfortunately for me has already been wrecked on the show, but too bad. That seems to be my MO.
When has that ever stopped you?
I know, right? I shouldn't apologize anymore. But I started watching Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and loving it.
Oh,
very
yeah,
fun.
It's pretty good.
Also, I told Michelle, because Michelle's been watching it with me, and I told her the whole thing about how the voice actor was like, it's not one of those woke Spider-Man. She's watched this and she's like, this is the wokest fucking Spider-Man I've ever seen.
It's pretty woke.
What is he talking about? It is incredibly woke. So
that's why you're not watching it with your son, so he's not exposed.
That's right.
Well,
yeah.
He gets Spidey and His Amazing Friends, which not that woke. I don't think so. I don't think it's that woke. But yeah, it's really good.
Who's the Hulk in that show? Is it Amadeus Cho or is it Bruce Banner? And the Amazing Friends one, like the little.
So it's crazy. They just treat Hulk like there's no alter ego. It's just Hulk. Like it's Hulk all the time.
Oh.
There's no pre-Hulk. There's just Hulk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, I hate when you have to deal with pre-Hulk.
Pre-Hulk is almost as bad as Hulk when you really get down to it,
Yeah.
you know?
So as far as that show is concerned, there's just Hulk. There's no alter ego. Hulk's walking around. He's always Hulk. And he just talks regular, and that's it. So,
but does Black Panther have an alter ego, or is it
T'Challa,
T'Challa, or does he just never take off the mask? Okay.
Yeah. So, and all of it, Black Cat, like the rest of
Miss Marvel, right? She's in there,
Miss Marvel, right? So they're all that have their other alter egos, but no, like the Hulk is just the Hulk. There's no Banner. There's no mention of Banner. It's just the Hulk. So, yeah.
I think it might be Amadeus Cho then in my little heart.
All right.
How far are you in the Spider-Man show?
3 episodes. So yeah.
Okay.
Episode 7 would be like, this is good, but probably not gonna finish it because I gotta watch Daredevil and like all this other stuff. So
You gotta.
You do gotta.
I'll kill you.
It's the rules.
I don't care if it's bad. I'll eat that shit up. Yum yum yum.
Yeah. Maybe he even shows up in the Spider-Man cartoon. Who knows? Maybe.
I'll look for it. So yeah,
man.
That's my rec. The Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney Plus. It's probably right next to Daredevil. Just hit one over, and it'll be right there.
Diggins, what do you have to recommend to the fine people?
Well, Nando, I watched a bunch of movies this week, actually, so I'm going to go through them really fast.
Okay.
Because first, I did a double feature at the Museum of the Moving Image, where I saw The Body Snatcher and Scarlet Street. These are both older movies, 30s and 40s. The Body Snatcher is an old Boris Karloff movie based on a Robert Louis Stevenson short story about like young doctor who encounters this cabman who like sells corpses to doctors for like practice. Sort of him being like entwined in the lives of these doctors. Scarlet Street is they call it a proto-noir. It's like before film noir really took off, but it's by Fritz Lang. It's about this kind of schlubby guy with a sort of dead-end job and a wife who hates him. Like meets this beautiful young woman who gets the mistaken impression that he's like a famous rich artist and just decides that she's gonna pretend to love him to swindle him out of as much money as possible.
They be doing that.
Women be shopping. I'm always saying this. And it takes a lot of turns from there. Actually, it's a very plotty movie, but I think they both they're both really good. Boris Karloff is honestly a really impressive performer. He gives a real air of menace. And Scarlet Street gets real bleak. But I think it ties everything together like really nicely. Like halfway through, I felt like the number of plot threads it was introducing was threatening to overwhelm it, but it wraps it up pretty good by the end. So I was impressed. Cool. Then I watched the couple Oscar movies I still had left. I saw Nickel Boys, which is an adaptation of the Colson Whitehead novel. About a young black boy who gets sent to a juvenile detention center that's basically just an excuse to abuse boys and have slave labor.
When does it take place?
Like the 60s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a real place. Like, or I don't know if like it's called what it's called in the movie / book, but it's based on like a real place in Florida that actually operated this way.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. But the movie's good. It's all shot in first person perspective, which I thought was like a really interesting experiment, but wasn't sure how I thought it was going to turn out. But I feel like they do some really creative and interesting things with it. And by the end, I was very impressed. So I like that. I'm not going to rec, even though I know DJ probably wants me to because of how much he loves this movie. I'm not wrecking Amelia Perez, a bad movie that you shouldn't watch.
DJ's giving thumbs up in the webcams. We could see him doing it, and it's like he liked this movie.
DJ's holding up a sign that says Amelia Perez was robbed. I think he should have been Best Picture. Carla Sofia Gascon, Best Actress. Just Amelia Perez sweep. That's what he was rooting for.
He says, "We stand our unproblematic queen." I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but that DJ, I don't think that's not a good thing to say. And DJ also says in his little Wile E. Coyote signs that he keeps holding up, he thought the music was good too, which is even maybe more controversial than those other things.
Yeah, perhaps the least defensible position he's taken so far.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a real rough movie. But what do you think? Here's my question because you've seen it now. What do you think happened? Because there were so many really hot reviews coming off of like the festivals when this came out first, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's incredible." Do you think? I don't know.
I think it's a really weird movie in a way where if you're sort of like in that like festival atmosphere where like you're maybe seeing more like audacious or experimental stuff. You see this and it's like, whoa, crazy musical about a trans cartel boss,
right?
And it's and also you're at a a high class film festival, probably not a lot of non-white people there to be like, wow, this Mexican stuff fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, in that heady atmosphere, you sort of just get like impressed by it, and then you don't think about it again until it comes out later, and all the critics are like, guys, what the fuck?
What is going on? Yeah. Once I feel like you have one trans critic and one Mexican critic, they could be like, oh, this stuff is bad. Everybody else goes, oh my God, okay. That's what I thought. I didn't think I didn't want to be the first one to be like, guys, I think this is the worst movie we've ever seen. But yeah, it's just wild. Yeah. Do you think in a world where her tweets don't come out, it maybe wins awards?
I think it probably still would have only won the awards it won. Just because even without her controversies, the worm was turning on that movie generally.
Yeah.
But I think things would have gone better for her.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not recommending that movie because it's not even funny to watch for the most part, honestly. It's just bad.
Yeah. You can find the clips of them singing some of the weird songs online. And, if you watch a video by someone online, like explaining why it's bad, and there's some good ones of those, like a good, Jesse Gender made like a 2-hour long video. So quite long, but you'll see all the weirdest shit. Yeah. So like it, you get a good sense for it. Yeah, but that movie sucks.
But another movie I am recommending, Gene Hackman died this past week. And so in honor of him, I watched one of his beloved classics, The Quick and the Dead by Sam Raimi. This is a joke because was at the time was panned by critics and was not beloved, but has come to be regarded well in the years since.
Oh yeah, I didn't know it was. I think it's just because it's a movie with him and it's kind of a period piece that in my brain I'm like, well, that's got to be pretty serious. Like that's a serious good movie, but
it is a good movie. Like I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know why it bombed when it came out.
When was it? Was it 90s? I imagine
95. Yeah.
Was it too close to like Tombstone and some of those other movies? And people were like, well, this isn't a good one.
Maybe they thought it was like too much of a pastiche of Westerns. I mean, it's not really a funny movie, even though it's Sam Raimi. It's Sam Raimi, so it has some like bizarre, like outlandish and goofy moments and like touches. But I think overall, it feels like a sincere attempt by Sam Raimi to make like an actual Western. And I think it works well. The cinematography is like really cool. Like the landscapes, they follow John Ford's advice. If the horizon's low, it's interesting. If it's high, it's interesting. If it's middle, it's shit. And like they do a lot of cool stuff with like shadows and light. And it's just like it's a full of stars. Sharon Stone is the main character. Russell Crowe is in it. Gene Hackman is the villain. Is doing great, like really menacing. Leonardo DiCaprio is baby Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, wow.
Is in it. And just like everyone's doing like a great performance. It's very like classical Sergio Leone Western. Sharon Stone is a female gunslinger who comes to a town where they're having a quick draw contest or tournament where it's like, people having quick draw duels, and whoever wins moves on, and whoever wins the overall tournament gets like $100,000 or whatever, paid out by Gene Hackman. But Gene Hackman's the best quick draw man there ever is, and he always wins. But maybe Sharon Stone has some personal reasons she doesn't like Gene Hackman.
Because of all that shit he did to Superman in the 70s.
That's right.
He's a bad person.
Yeah, so that I found that movie really fun, and I liked it a lot. Those are all the movies I've watched since our last recording session. What about you, Nando? Do you have anything to recommend?
I don't even know if I've watched a movie besides this. I have watched a lot of television, as is the usual. I don't think much of it is new, because like it's the end of Paradise, first season of that, which I think is great. It might be bad, but also I enjoyed it. I'm not convinced it's like Severance, where it's like also saying really interesting things. I think it just might be fun, but there's bits where the emotion of it is interesting, and I'm being very vague because The less you know going in, the better. This is the one with James Marsden and Sterling K. Brown. So I'm really enjoying that. And Severance, I'm really enjoying episode 7 of Severance, wild. But then, and there'll be another one out in like a couple of, well, I guess that one comes out tomorrow. There'll be new Invincible out very soon. That's supposed to be very exciting. It's my guess based on where we leave off in the last one. But speaking of television shows, my main rec for this week is the Daredevil show, except I will say, as someone who has watched all of those and really has like strong feelings about that they're really good and stuff, I didn't think the first episode of the season is very good, but it's the kind of getting everybody back to the places where you want them for episode 2, which I do think is good. So I think overall the season's going to be fine, but the first episode had me a little worried. I've heard other people say this too, in terms of like the way it's shot and just kind of the pace of it. It's very, I'm just kind of moving around a lot. But episode 2 starts and you're like, oh yeah, that's what this should have been the whole time. As it, it's been what, 7 or 8 years since the last show. So I understand why they wanted to like be, they felt like they had to wrap up a couple things. But it's not what I want, which is them all being like, I got blipped and I didn't get blipped. And when were you blipped? Because I still don't know. And there's stuff that I'm like, I think this guy maybe did, but we'll never know. It's on Disney Plus. It's very adult. They say bad language words, but also, there's lots of violence and stuff. I do think like that level of it, I think is in line with like the Netflix show, and like the acting is very good. It's like that first episode just kind of weird. Overall though, I'd say it's worth recommending. Besides that, I really don't think we've been watching too much else. We really have been keeping busy with all these other shows. And I don't know if it's like, I don't know how seasons work now. There used to be like different seasons of shows. It feels like a lot of shows are wrapping up this week or are close to wrapping up. And then we're going to move into the Andor season, which is maybe like what's going to come after that, which I'm very excited about. But we have a few more of those left. So, and to be fair, Love is Blind is also very entertaining, because they're all weird, but, I don't know. I don't think this is the best season of that ever for sure. So I wouldn't recommend that. Let's start watching a show called Pantheon. Have you seen this, Diggins? Have you ever heard of it?
I don't think so.
It's animated. It's not, I don't know if it's an anime. I don't know what, I know very little about it. And I only watched about maybe half of the first episode, but it's about like people and computers. And it seems like maybe the people are in the computers. I don't know. It's complicated, but I have a group chat with some people and they were all like, oh my God, I love this. This is my favorite show. And I was like, I've never even heard of it. And I started and then I kind of lost interest, but I'm willing to keep it up. If people are like, oh, you gotta finish, Pantheon, then I'll try it. Oh, you know what else? Speaking of, I played a lot more Hades too. The Ares update was good. And I think, I just think it's a very, I don't know for how much is done, but it seems like they're pretty close to being finished making it. So
pretty close to when I'll start playing it then.
Yeah, which is worth it. Like I think there's things that I'll remember fondly, boons that I think were overpowered and were fun, but I totally understand the waiting until it's all done to get into it. And it's pretty good. But yeah, next week we'll be doing one of the movies. We'll figure out what that is. But first, let's do some plugs. DJ, what do you have to plugs to find people?
Just Roses and Rejections. Michelle and I talk about on the most recent episode how this season of The Bachelor is the worst season we've ever watched together. So that's fun.
Really
a thing you say every season.
No, this one's truly bad though. This one's awful. This one
a thing you say every time I point that out.
Fair enough.
Wow.
And we'll be covering the Love is Blind finale and the reunion, which happened 2 days apart, which I think is an insane decision. I can't believe they're doing that. Like, give it some time to breathe. But they just want to get it out before any controversies can pop up or whatever. No more sperm baby incidents or whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah, you can check that
out.
No
more Hulk
Break Network.
No more Hulk, pre-Hulk, any of that stuff. Like, speaking of the show, by the way,
when you pre-Hulk and it results in a baby,
it's the worst. It's like, man, it's just they're out to get us.
Damn.
I do want to say I'm looking at the list of these characters because on the Spider-Man cartoon, because I was like,
Okay.
well, maybe the Hulk does have in the wiki. You're right though. He has even though other characters are like supposed to be different ones, it's just a monster superhero with gamma-related super strength. I didn't realize A, that Ben Grimm is in there. That's fun.
Mhm.
B, that Reptile is in there, which is a character that just is like kind of invented for cartoons, not for this one, but for other ones. But then B, I just started reading one of their descriptions of their Wikipedia pages and then came across a sentence. This is just about Ghost Spider. This is when she accesses her dino web powers during season 3, she can change at will into a pterodactyl. What the fuck is going on, man? This Sauron died for nothing, like, or is this his dream? Did he? Maybe
did
he
do
wins
this
it.
to her.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
pretty good actually. But I don't see him on the list here. I would imagine that's something that the lizard did or something, and that's weird. But yeah. So I'm pretty into Love Is Blind. But I'm interested to see how the finale goes, and I feel like there's a lot of people that could show up for the reunion that would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I want to see the sister.
Agreed.
I want to meet her.
Yeah.
I want to, I just want to know what's going on, but we'll find out soon.
All right. Well, that's it for me.
And what about you, Diggins? What do you have to plug to the fine people?
Nothing. What about you, Nando?
I put out my Pet Avengers video, so that's out. I'm going to have Daredevil videos on the Nando Cut about what's going on, like episode 1, episode 2, some more thoughts that are more specific and kind of spoilery. Obviously, I wouldn't want to go into those here. I also have my the wacky, god-awful presidents of the Marvel Cinematic Universe video coming out soon. So that's on Nebula now, and that one's pretty cool. And after that, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, maybe other videos about stuff. We'll find out. So next week, what are we doing, fellas? Probably the thing that I said. Oh,
Love
wait.
Hurts?
Love Hurts,
Yeah.
maybe Elektra, maybe something like that. We'll figure it out. But until then, I've been at Nando V Movies on Blue Sky.
I'm at Zippy by Day on Blue Sky.
I'm at C Diggins on Blue Sky.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. We love you.